Hi. Hi. Yes. So I definitely agree with what Maddie is about to say about church folk and just how everything is in general. I definitely agree with her on this, and so I had to record this. And then also I'm going to insert my own little 2 cents in here. Y'all know I just gotta do it. I just have to do it. One moment.
Quit trying to sow discord among the brethren. That's a sin.
You could have just said the congregation.
No, the brethren. That's what the Bible says. It is a sin. It is actually a what we use. It is an abomination.
To sow.
It is actually an abomination for you to sow discord amongst the brethren.
Yes, it is.
So when we start talking about abominations, we've got to make sure, because what you niggas, please get that pastor, that Crocker pastor.
I got him. He's right here.
Because what you niggas like to roll off of is the word abomination when it comes down to us.
Yeah.
But there are so many abominations that applies to you.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the roll off of is the word abomination when it comes down to us.
Yeah.
But there are so many abominations that applies to you.
One more time.
Like the roll off of is the word abomination when it comes down to us.
Yeah.
But there are so many abominations that applies to you.
Right.
There are so many abominations that applies to you. Gossiping.
Yes.
What we're doing, Papa, we all abominating right now.
We all doing what?
Abominating.
What we doing?
Abominating, bitch. We abominating.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all like that?
Girl, I thought you were about to say President Obama.
No, he already abominating too.
Abominating. Okay.
What? It's abomination,
baby.
I don't really think y'all understand this, the way y'all use the word in the context. Y'all use the word, meaning the book, the King James version. Y'all use the book to scorn, condemn, and find pieces to always fit what's worked for y'all. So we have to make sure that you know it's in its entirety. Because again, like me and Craig said at the top of the show when we were talking about fooling the nigga, if you put it in a book,
they definitely gonna miss it.
They gonna miss it. So we already know the rest of the parts y'all miss, because you only know one part. It's about the homosexual. Sodom and Gomorrah.
And you don't even know that part.
You don't even know that part, because Sodom and Gomorrah was not destroyed because of faggots in there. Faggots was already living in there, thriving. Faggots, bull dykes, sissies, punk trainees, they was already living in Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed because of what America is doing now.
So I love this. And guess what? That's why I am here, because I am here to show you what the Straits was doing in Sodom and Gomorrah and why Sodom and Gomorrah was really destroyed. See, because they love to talk about the faggots, but you don't want to accept your part in the bullshit. One moment. Okay, so here we are on my YouTube channel. And I'm gonna look. Oh, this one right here. The answer to why do they hate us? That's a real good one. You should watch that. That's the answer to why white folk keep doing this to us? Why we keep being shot down by the police, unarmed, man or woman. So yeah, make sure you watch that. Okay, let me see. Where's it? Yeah. Oh, thank you, T.S. Madison. Okay, let me see. Where is it at? Oh, here we go. The truth about Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's see. Alright, so this next lesson that I'm going to do is going to be on the truth about Sodom and Gomorrah. And when I say truth, I'm speaking on the notion that it was much more going on in Sodom and Gomorrah than what we hear in like the Black Christian church today, where God basically destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because of the homosexuality or rape that was taking place in Sodom and Gomorrah. If you do the research, you will find out that it was actually a lot deeper than what we have actually come to learn in church regarding Sodom and Gomorrah. It was not just about gay people. Even though Sodom and Gomorrah, not gonna lie, does remind me of this app called Bingo. Well, at least the gay side of it. It does remind me of that side of the app. But nonetheless, the story about the truth about Sodom and Gomorrah was that it was not just about gay people. So that's what I'm going to dive into today. I'm going to be using the Bible as well as the book of Jasher. And so here we go. The first thing I love to talk about is how Sodom and Gomorrah reminds me of the gay side of Bingo or ATL, for instance. These people will be judged. Of course, they will be upset with me, but they know what they did in the dark. In this next lesson, pay attention to how this community came together to do evil towards people. A note from John. Where Sodom once stood is now the Dead Sea. Nothing grows there. Do not harbor the hope that God will overlook all the heinous wickedness that is being accepted and the things soon to be legalized in America. We could fall as suddenly as Sodom did. I know we have all heard about Sodom and Gomorrah, but I would like to share a more detailed account of the events that actually took place in the city. It goes way deeper than just sodomy or homosexuality. These people were raping and scheming people, even visitors. Reading from the book of Jasher, which is spoken of in the Bible, you will be surprised that the world today is a very strong mixture of the world right before the Great Flood, also Sodom and Gomorrah, right before it was destroyed. To sum up the book of Jasher, as it relates to the 66 books left of the Bible that is now available, the original Bible had over 81 books. The book of Jasher gives the details of what happened in Genesis. The book of Genesis is like an overview or an outline, and books like Jubilees and Jasher, both written by Moses, in parentheses. Some say the book claims to be written by Jasher, son of Caleb, one of Moses' lieutenants, who later judged Israel at Shiloh, but the text still came from Moses nonetheless. In parentheses, give the details such as Noah preaching for 120 years to the reason why Esau was tired and desperate to eat the bloody stew. The book is valid, so if you want details on what was going on and why the Most High brought judgment, here you go. Excuse me. Alright, the book of Jasher, chapter 18. And excuse me if I sound a little nasally, sinuses. Yeah. Alright, the book of Jasher, chapter 18, verse 1. And Abraham rose and did all that God had ordered him, and he took the men of his household and those bought with his money, and he circumcised them, as the Lord had commanded him. And there was not one left whom he did not circumcise. And Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised in the flesh of their foreskin, 13 years old was Ishmael when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. Verse 3. And in the third day Abraham went out of his tent and sat at the door to enjoy the heat of the sun during the pain of his flesh. Verse 4. And the Lord appeared to him in the plain of Mamre and sent 3 of his ministering angels to visit him. And he was sitting at the door of the tent. He lifted his eyes and saw, and lo, 3 men were coming from a distance. And he rose up and ran to meet them. And he bowed down to them and brought them into his house. And he said to them, If now I have found favor in your sight, turn in and eat a morsel of bread. And he pressed them, and they turned in, and he gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he placed them under a tree at the door of the tent. Verse 6. And Abraham ran and took a calf tender and good, and he hastened to kill it, and gave it to his servant Eliezer to dress. Verse 7. And Abraham came to Sarah into the tent, and he said to her, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes to cover the pot containing the meat. And she did so. And Abraham hastened and brought before them butter and milk, beef and mutton, and gave it before them to eat before the flesh of the calf was sufficiently done. And they did eat. Verse 9. And when they had done eating, one of them said to him, I will return to thee according to the time of life, and Sarah thy wife shall have a son. Verse 10. And the men afterward departed and went their ways to the places to which they were sent. In those days all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and the whole 5 cities were exceedingly wicked and sinful against the Lord. And they provoked the Lord with their abominations, and they strengthened in aging abominably and scornfully before the Lord, and their wickedness and crimes were in those days great before the Lord. Verse 12. And they had in their land a very extensive valley, about a half day's walk, and in it there were fountains of water and a great deal of herbage surrounding the water. 13. And all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah went there 4 times in the year with their wives and children and all belonging to them, and they rejoiced there with timbrels and dances. Verse 14. And in the time of rejoicing they would all arise and lay hold of their neighbors' wives, and some the virgin daughters of their neighbors, and they enjoyed them. Each man saw his wife and daughter in the hands of his neighbor, and did not say a word. Verse 15. And they did so from morning to night. And they afterward returned home, each man to his house, and each woman to her tent. So they always did 4 times a year. Wait a minute now. They did this 4 times a year. My first thought is, why the man going home to the house and a woman to a tent? So wait, the woman lived in a tent? Dang. Y'all women always getting dogged. This is wild. Okay, Stop it. I'm gonna flip my camera. I'm gonna scroll up, flip my camera so I can show y'all what I just read. Okay, look at Jazz share. This one I just read. So if you want to pause it and read it, you can do that. And then next is my commentary. So sorry, I'm working with my cell phone. It's just, it's just me doing this. It's just me and my cell phone and my laptop, so, and keep in mind, I ain't asking for no money for doing this, so, as far as the quality, you is getting this for free, so always remember that. I'm just playing, y'all. Notice in verse 11, Sodom and Gomorrah had 5 cities like unto suburbs around it, and these cities had a valley where they grew herbage. Verse 12, this is California today, or like California today. I don't have any evidence that the herbage was weed other than their actions, and I'll get into that later. In California, there are valleys where people grow weed. Everyone knows that. You go to Cali if you want some good weed. These people were participating in paganism, which is high-level witchcraft, which is Satanism. Verse 13, this was a festival, but I say this was one big orgy that all the people participated in after they got high. Weed makes you aroused, and if one is nervous, the weed calms the nerves. Trust me, I know. Their children not only watched and learned, but they participated as well. Children watching adults have sex is a form of sacrifice, molestation. They were continuing the sin into further generations. Here, right here, is your Saturnalia, which is Christmas, or Samhain / Halloween, aka Halloween. This is why we are not to participate in these satanic festivals that have been masked over with half-truths. Verse 14, after smoking and getting to a higher level of consciousness, the men committed coveting another man's wife. They committed adultery, fornication, and don't think sodomy, bestiality, and pedophilia were not going on, because it was. It even says how virgin daughters were laid hold of, so there was some form of pedophilia going on. In fact, today in the Middle East, the imams are raping children and the women are performing bestiality. This is going on right now. Go to Tijuana, Mexico, and see what they have girls as young as 11 doing the donkeys. This is our own people doing this too. This was not about just gay people either. So straight people can't really use this story and relate it to just gay people. These people got together 4 times a year, and it was straight Woodstock. It was one big orgy with drugs from sun up to sundown, just like Woodstock, but not too much worse. Nothing is new under the sun. I don't even want to imagine all that energy being generated. So the book of Jasher, chapter 18, verse 16. Also, when a stranger came into their cities and brought goods which he had purchased with a view to dispose of there, the people of these cities would assemble, men, women, and children, young and old, and go to the man and take his goods by force, giving a little to each man, until there was an end to all the goods of the owner which he had brought into the land. Verse 17. And if the owner of the goods quarreled with them, saying, what is this work which you have done to me? Then they would approach him one by one, and each would show him the little which he took, and taunt him, saying, I only took that little which thou didst give me. And when he heard this from them all, he would arise and go from them in sour and bitterness of soul, when they would all arise and go after him and drive him out of the city with great noise and tumult. This reminds me of that app, man. Man, these people were so wicked and evil. You see, they have a system set up that had nothing to do with sexuality, really. Obviously, they had done this many times if they all knew to come together and taunt him, saying, I only took that little which thou didst give me. And when he heard this from them all, he would arise and go from them in sorrow and bitterness of soul. When they would all arise and go after him and drive him out of the city with great noise and tumult. This shows the unity in their deceit. I know whole hoods or apps or projects like this. Projects like this in my hometown, Toledo, Ohio. And I'm sure, they're all over, the United States of America. So, one, especially if you're not born into that particular set of projects and you just happen to ride over there, even to pick up someone, you will get shot. This kind of reminds me of with the ballroom scene as well. Sometimes new people are not welcomed. We do this to each other, but when them armies come, it will be a different story. We will wish that we had stuck together. I am just going through giving you different accounts of why the Most High pronounced judgment on this place. Also, I would like you to take note of the similarities between Sodom and Gomorrah, the suburb cities around the two cities, and America as a whole. America won't even take care of their own. They have billions to spend everywhere else but home. Now, I wrote this years ago, in 2014, 2015, this part of my book was already done. And now, fast forward to we in 2024, people are starting to see, man, America got money to send to Ukraine, got money to send over here, got money to send over there. But we got all these homeless people. We got this problem and this problem. So, yeah, it's the truth. They have billions to spend everywhere else but home. The book of Jasher, chapter 18, verse 18. Ukraine is the origin, one of the origin places of those imposter Jewish people. Yeah, I said it. Those are not the people that walked out of Egypt with Moses. Those are converts. Okay? And so Ukraine is one of the origin places of those people. And so that is why America helps Ukraine the way that it does. And there was a man from the country of Elam, I think Elam is India, who was leisurely going on the road, seated upon his ass, which carried a fine mantle of diverse colors, and the mantle was bound with a cord upon the ass. Verse 19, and the man was on his journey passing through the street of Sodom when the sun set in the evening. And he remained there in order to abide during the night, but no one would let him into his house. And at that time there was in Sodom a wicked and mischievous man, one skillful to do evil, and his name was Hadad. Verse 20, and he lifted up his eyes and saw the traveler in the street of the city, and he came to him and said, whence comest thou, and whither dost thou go? And the man said to him, I am traveling from Hebron to Elam, where I belong, and as I passed the sun set, and no one would suffer me to enter his house, though I had bread and water, and also straw and provender for my ass, and I'm short of nothing. And Hadad answered and said to him, all that thou shalt want shall be supplied by me, but in the street thou shalt not abide all night. Verse 23, and Hadad brought him to his house, and he took off the mantle from the donkey with the cord, and brought him to his house. And he gave the donkey straw and provender, whilst the traveler ate and drank in Hadad's house, and he abode there that night. I'm going to change ass to donkey. And in the morning, the traveler rose up early to continue his journey, when Hadad said to him, wait,
comfort thy heart with a morsel of bread, and then go. And the man did so. And he remained with him, and they both ate and drank together during the day, when the man rose up to go. Verse 25, and Hadad said to him, Behold, now the day is declining. Thou hadst better remain all night, that thy heart may be comforted. And he pressed him so that he tarried there all night. And on the second day he rose up early to go away. When Hadad pressed him, saying, Comfort thy heart with a morsel of bread, and then go. And he remained and ate with him also the second day. And then the man rose up to continue his journey. Verse 26, and Hadad said unto him, Behold, now the day is declining. Remain with me to comfort thy heart, and in the morning rise up early and go thy way. Verse 27, and the man would not remain, but rose and saddled his donkey. And whilst he was saddling his donkey, the wife of Hadad said to her husband, Behold, this man has remained with us for 2 days, eating and drinking, and he has given us nothing. And now shall he go away from us without giving anything. And Hadad said to her, Be silent. And the man saddled his donkey to go, and he asked Hadad to give him the cord and mantle to tie it up upon the donkey. And Hadad said to him, What sayest thou? And he said to him, That thou, my lord, shalt give me the cord and the mantle made with diverse colors, which thou didst conceal with thee in thy house, to take care of it. Verse 30, and Hadad answered the man, saying, This is the interpretation of thy dream. The cord which thou didst see means that thy life will be lengthened out like a cord, and having seen the mantle colored with all sorts of colors means that thou shalt have a vineyard in which thou wilt plant trees of all fruits. And the traveler answered, saying, Not so, my lord, for I was awake when I gave thee the cord, and also a mantle woven with different colors, which thou didst take off that donkey to put them by for me. And Hadad answered and said, Surely I have told thee the interpretation of thy dream, and it is a good dream, and this is the interpretation thereof. Verse 32, Now the sons of men give me 4 pieces of silver, which is my charge for interpreting dreams, and of thee only I require 3 pieces of silver. Verse 33, And the man was provoked at the words of Hadad, and he cried bitterly, and he brought Hadad to Sirach, judge of Sodom. And the man laid his cause before Sirach, the judge, where Hadad replied, saying, It is not so, but thus the matter stands. And the judge said to the traveler, This man Hadad telleth thee truth, for he is famed in the cities for the accurate interpretations of dreams. And the man cried at the word of the judge, and he said, Not so, my lord, for it was in the day that I gave him the cord and mantle which was upon the donkey, in order to put them by in his house. And they both disputed before the judge, the one saying, Thus the matter was, and the other declaring otherwise. Let me scroll up so I can show y'all all that I just read. Okay, hold on. These people were wicked. And you can pause this, and I'm sorry, you can pause this and read it for yourself. Thank y'all for kicking it with me, hanging out. Alright, verse 36. And Hadad said to the man, give me 4 pieces of silver that I charge for my interpretations of dreams. I will not make any allowance, and give me the expense of the 4 meals that thou didst eat in my house. And the man said to Hadad, truly I will pay thee for what I ate in thy house. Only give me the cord and mantle which thou didst conceal in thy house. And Hadad replied before the judge and said to the man, did I not tell thee the interpretation of thy dream? The cord means that thy days shall be prolonged like a cord, and the mantle that thou wilt have a vineyard in which thou wilt plant all kinds of fruit trees. This is the proper interpretation of thy dream. Now give me the 4 pieces of silver that I require as a compensation, for I will make thee no allowance. And the man cried at the words of Hadad, and they both quarreled before the judge, and the judge gave order to his servants, who drove them rashly from the house. They went away quarreling from the judge. When the people of Sodom heard them, and they gathered about them, and they exclaimed against the stranger, and they drove him rashly from the city. And the man continued his journey upon his donkey with bitterness of soul, lamenting and weeping. And whilst he was going along, he wept at what happened to him in the corrupt city of Sodom. The whole city, including the judicial system, was corrupt, just like America today. I wanted to provide an in-depth, detailed account of what was actually going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. Most people think that it was all about homosexuality, and that was not really even a point. Have you seen it mentioned yet? I think the men of Sodom and Gomorrah really did themselves in when they were going to rape the angels and Lot that were sent by the Most High. I honestly don't think it was about if 2 of the same sex actually fell in love or got married and had a consensual relationship. I'm speaking in regards to Sodom and Gomorrah. I think the main focus here was fornication, orgies, and rape that were going on, and all the scamming that was going on. There were other minor points as well, but I just want to say to take this account and aim it at one community of people is wrong. Own your parts too. Seems like they were taking anything from clothing, linen, and fine china to booty. This was a hetero couple from what it looks like. It really didn't matter who or what. These people had devised a satanic system that included their judicial system that preyed on innocent people passing by even. Just like this one tourist and his friends on this one app. Book of Jasher, chapter 19, verse 1. And the cities of Sodom had 4 judges to 4 cities, and these were their names: Sirach in the city of Sodom, Sharkad in Gomorrah, Zabnak in Admah, and Menon in Zeboim. And verse 2. And Eleazar, Abraham's servant, applied to them different names, and he converted Sirach to Shakra, Sharkad to Shakrura, Zebnak to Kezobim, and Menon to Matzloding. Verse 3. And by desire of their 4 judges, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah had beds erected in the streets of the cities. And if a man came to these places, they laid hold of him and brought him to one of their beds, and by force made him to lie in them. Verse 4. And as he lay down, 3 men would stand at his head and 3 at his feet, and measure him by the length of the bed. And if the man was less than the bed, these men would stretch him at the end, and when he cried out to them, they would not answer him. Verse 5. And if he was longer than the bed, they would draw together the 2 sides of the bed at each end until the man had reached the gates of death. And if he continued to cry out to them, they would answer him, saying, Thus shall it be done to a man that cometh into our land. Verse 7, And when men heard all these things that the people of the cities of Sodom did, they refrained from coming there. My commentary, these people are weird, conniving, and just flat out evil. What else do you think they did with the beds erected in the streets of their cities? Seems like a future ATL. I'm just playing. Or maybe I'm not. You never know what's going to happen down there. The book of Joshua, chapter 19, verse 8. And when a poor man came to their land, they would give him silver and gold, and cause a proclamation in the whole city not to give him a morsel of bread to eat. And if the stranger should remain there some days and die from hunger, not having been able to obtain a morsel of bread, then at his death all the people of the city would come and take their silver and gold, which they had given to him. Verse 9, And those that could recognize the silver or gold which they had given to him took it back, and at his death they also stripped him of his garments, and they would fight about them, and he that prevailed over his neighbor took them. Verse 10, They would after that carry him and bury him under some of the shrubs in the deserts. So they did all the days to anyone that came to them and died in their land. These people are sick, man. Verse 11, And in the course of time Sarah sent Eliezer to Sodom to see Lot and inquire after his welfare. And Eliezer went to Sodom, and he met a man of Sodom fighting with a stranger. And the man of Sodom stripped the poor man of all his clothes and went away. And this poor man cried to Eliezer and supplicated his favor on account of what the man of Sodom had done to him. And he said to him, Why dost thou act thus to the poor man who came to thy land? And the man of Sodom answered Eliezer, saying, Is this man thy brother? Or have the people of Sodom made thee a judge this day, that thou speakest about this man? And Eliezer strove with the man of Sodom on account of the poor man. And when Eliezer approached to recover the poor man's clothes from the man of Sodom, he hastened and with a stone smote Eliezer in the forehead. And the blood flowed copiously from Eliezer's forehead. And when the man saw the blood, he caught hold of Eliezer, saying, Give me my hire for having rid thee of this bad blood that was in thy forehead. For such is the custom and the law in our land. Wow. And Eliezer said to him, Thou hast wounded me, and requires me to pay thee thy hire? And Eliezer would not hearken to the words of the man of Sodom. And the man laid hold of Eliezer and brought him to Shakra, the judge of Sodom, for judgment. And the man spoke to the judge, saying, I beseech thee, my lord, thus has this man done, for I smote him with a stone, that the blood flowed from his forehead, and he is unwilling to give me my hire. And the judge said to Eliezer, This man speaketh truth to thee, give him his hire, for this is the custom in our land. And Eliezer heard the words of the judge, and he lifted up a stone and smote the judge. And the stone struck on his forehead, and the blood flowed copiously from the forehead of the judge. And Eliezer said, If this is then the custom in your land, give thou unto this man what I should have given to him. For this has been thy decision, thou didst decree it. Oh man, that was clever. And Eliezer left the man of Sodom with the judge, and he went away. Man, these people was crazy. How am I going to hit you and then require you to pay me for getting rid of bad blood? And I just lied in the process that you allegedly had. You allegedly had bad blood. But you know what? What's crazy? The police do this to this day. I have a former friend that got beat up by the police, And he got charged with assault because the police beat him so bad that his blood got on their uniform and they charged him with assault. So this does happen. So yes, the police do this to us today. You see, Eliezer had to get out of there quick. This is talking about how people treat each other. Book of Jasher chapter 19 verse 23. And when the kings of Elam had made war with the kings of Sodom, the kings of Elam captured all the property of Sodom. They took Lot captive with his property, and when it was told to Abraham, he went and made war with the kings of Elam. He recovered from their hands all the property of Lot as well as the property of Sodom. I just want to point out how the book of Jasher gives the full details of what happened leading up to Genesis 19 verses 1 through 29, King James Version. So no more of that book's not spiritually inspired crap. Also, Genesis 14 1 through 17, King James Version, proves that there were heteros. Obviously, these kings of Sodom and Gomorrah had heirs, children. I do believe them men trying to rape them angels, and Lot was the last damn straw, though. The book of Jasher chapter 19, 24. At that time, the wife of Lot bare him a daughter, and he called her name Peltith, saying, because God had delivered him and his whole household from the kings of Elam. Peltith, daughter of Lot, grew up, and one of the men of Sodom took her for a wife. And a poor man came into the city to seek a maintenance, and he remained in the city some days. And all the people of Sodom caused a proclamation of their custom not to give this man a morsel of bread to eat until he dropped dead upon the earth, and they did so. And Peltith, the daughter of Lot, saw this man lying in the street, starved with hunger, and no one will give him anything to keep him alive, and he was just upon the point of death. Pause. So wait a minute. You mean to tell me these people had already lost everything to the kings of Elam, and which had Abraham had to go get all of their stuff, including Lot, and y'all still going back to acting this way? See how hard-headed these people was? Y'all just went through all of that. Y'all just getting y'all stuff back, and y'all still acting like this. Still acting like this. Hard-headed. And so, and Peltith, daughter of Lot, saw this man lying in the street, starved with hunger, and no one would give him anything to keep him alive, and he was just upon the point of death. And her soul was filled with pity on account of the man, and she fed him secretly with bread for many days, and the soul of this man was revived. For when she went forth to fetch water, she would put the bread in the water pitcher, and when she came to the place where the poor man was, she took the bread from the pitcher and gave it to him to eat. So she did many days. And all the people of Sodom and Gomorrah wondered how this man could bear starvation for so many days, or live as this man has, without even the countenance changing. And 3 men concealed themselves in the place where the poor man was stationed, to know who it was that brought him bread to eat. And Peltith, daughter of Lot, went forth that day to fetch water. She put bread into her pitcher of water, and she went to draw water by the poor man's place. She took out the bread from the pitcher and gave it to the poor man, and he ate it. And the 3 men saw what Peltith did to the poor man, and they said to her, it is thou then who hast supported him, and therefore has he not starved, nor changed in appearance, nor died like the rest. And the 3 men went out of the place in which they were concealed, and they seized Peltith and the bread which was in the poor man's hand. And they took Peltith and brought her before their judges, and they said to them, thus did she do, and it is she who supplied the poor man with bread, therefore did he not die all this time. Now therefore declare to us the punishment due to this woman for having transgressed our law. And the people of Sodom and Gomorrah assembled and kindled a fire in the street of the city, and they took the woman and cast her into the fire, and she was burned to ashes. What else can you say but evil? like I said, it was more than just homosexuality going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. And what's so crazy is this was Lot's daughter. And the whole reason y'all can even do that is because Lot's family, Abraham, saved y'all. And then y'all go back and y'all still act like this. But people, wicked people, this is how they are. This is how they are. The Hebrew and Lot's daughter, Paltev, we are naturally givers, kicked in. She paid a high price for trying to help a poor man. She was convicted and burned. These people had a law in place to starve visitors. Not only did they plan to kill, but they came up with sick ways to do it. Can you imagine a whole city giving you money, but nobody would sell you not even a morsel of bread? There was no Walmart, but I would have at least attempted to run to the next city with as much money as I could. This is just, it's evil, man. It's evil. And I mean, that's just so crazy to me. Like, I'm not saying like they should show favoritism because this is, Lot's daughter. But at the same point in time, it's like y'all don't recognize that Abraham got all of y'all stuff back. Y'all don't, so that all that go out the window. These people was just eager to do evil. And I mean, it's not just about homosexuality. This has nothing to do with homosexuality. What I just read here, they ain't got nothing to do with no homosexuality or heterosexuality. This is just flat out evil. That's wrong. That's how, but you know what? This is how people, even in the LGBTQIA community, treat each other. They treat each other just like this. I know it. I went through it with one of my experiences on the Bingo app. A whole community of low vibrational people just looking to do evil, looking to hurt each other. Just a bunch of hurt people looking to hurt people. And that's just shame. That's a shame. Book of Jasher, chapter 19, verse 36. And in the city of Admah, there was a woman to whom they did the like. For a traveler came into the city of Admah to abide there all night, with the intention of going home in the morning. And he sat opposite the door of the house of the young woman's father to remain there as the sun had set when he had reached that place. And the young woman saw him sitting by the door of the house. And he asked her for a drink of water, and she said to him, "Who art thou?" And he said to her, "I was this day going on the road and reached here where the sun set, so I will abide here all night, and in the morning I will arise early and continue my journey." And the young woman went into the house and fetched the man bread and water to eat and drink. And this affair became known to the people of Admah, and they assembled and brought the young woman before the judges, that they should judge her for this act. And the judge said, "The judgment of death must pass upon this woman because she transgressed our law. And this, therefore, is the decision concerning her." And the people of those cities assembled and brought out the young woman and anointed her with honey from head to foot, as the judge had decreed. And they placed her before a swarm of bees, which were then in their hives. And the bees flew upon her and stung her, that her whole body was swelled. And the young woman cried out on account of the bees, but no one took notice of her or pitied her, and her cries ascended to heaven. And the Lord was provoked at this, and at all the works of the cities of Sodom, for they had abundance of food, and had tranquility amongst them, and still would not sustain the poor and the needy. And in those days their evil doings and sins became great before the Lord. This woman, all she tried to do was feed somebody and give them some water, bro. And these people were so evil, they took this woman and put honey all over. And I mean, what a way to kill somebody and have bees, a swarm of bees sting her.
Evil.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has nothing to do with sexuality, whether you're straight or gay or what. This is what I just read here. That ain't got nothing to do. And you see,
Hello.
after all these accounts, right? Verse 44, and the Lord was provoked at this and at all the works of the cities of Sodom. These people was evil. These people was evil. They had evil in their heart. It have nothing to do with no sex. I mean, besides them orgies and the pedophilia, yes. But what about all the other stuff? What about all the other stuff that these people were doing that's happening today? Outside of homosexuality or fornication or all of that. What about all this other stuff? These people of Sodom and Gomorrah provoked the Most High to anger. Both verses 24 through 35 and 36 through 44 are a direct violation of what Christ said in Matthew 25, 31 through 46, King James Version. You see, verse 44 says they had an abundance of food and had tranquility amongst them, and still would not sustain the poor and needy. And in those days, their evil doings and sins became great before the Lord. So you know what that sound like to me? That sound like to me these people that be sitting up on this app, right? And they brag, they got all this money. I got this, I got that, I got this, I got this. I'm cashy, I'm this. You know, but yet you still run to expose people's medical records. You still run to be messy. You still run to scam and steal and cause division. Like, I just don't get it. And okay, if you have an abundance, why try to keep the next person down? Or why put the next person down? Because you have holes in your soul. You have holes in your soul. And you do that to make yourself feel better. So not only was homosexuality going on, but to me it seems to me that the homosexuality was the least of the issues going on here. There was also some downright mean and evil things going on back then, just like how it is today. The book of Joshua chapter 19 parallels right with Genesis 19. King James Version, and 45, and the Lord sent for two of the angels that had come to Abraham's house to destroy Sodom and its cities. And the angels rose up from the door of Abraham's tent after they had eaten and drunk, and they reached Sodom in the evening. And Lot was then sitting in the gate of Sodom. And when he saw them, he rose to meet them, and he bowed to the ground. And he pressed them greatly, and brought them into his house. And he gave them victuals, which they ate, and they abode all night in his house. And the angel said to Lot, Arise, go forth from this place, thou and all belonging to thee, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of this city, for the Lord will destroy this place. Verse 49, and the angels laid hold upon the hand of Lot, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hands of his children, and all belonging to him. And they brought him forth, and set him without the cities. And they said to Lot, Escape for thy life. And he fled, and all belonging to him. Verse 51, Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah, and upon all these cities, brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew these cities, all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. And Ada, the wife of Lot, looked back to see the destruction of the cities, for her compassion was moved on account of her daughters who remained in Sodom, for they did not go with her. And when she looked back, she became a pillar of salt, and is yet in that place until this day. Let me scroll up. scroll down. Just giving you a chance to be able to pause and read it for yourself. And look, this is what they're saying. That is Lot's wife, Ada. The Lot's wife pillar on Mount Sodom, Israel, made of halite, commonly known as rock salt, is a type of salt, the mineral natural form of sodium chloride. Halite forms isometric crystals. Remember what Christ said. Remember Lot's wife. We are to help our people and treat them right, but if they don't listen, remember Lot's wife. Some communities, friend groups, or secret societies you might have to leave and not look back. Has nothing to do with who you love, because love is love, and only the Most High can really determine if the love is real. Alright, verse 54. And the oxen which stood in that place daily licked up the salt to the extremities of their feet, and in the morning it would spring forth afresh, and they again licked it up unto this day. And Lot and two of his daughters that remained with him fled and escaped to the cave of Adullam, and they remained there for some time. And Abraham rose up early in the morning to see what had been done to the cities of Sodom. And he looked and beheld the smoke of the cities going up like smoke of a furnace. And Lot and his two daughters remained in the cave, and they made their father drink wine, and they lay with him. For they said there was no man upon earth that could raise up seed from them, for they thought that the whole earth was destroyed. And they both lay with their father, and they conceived and bare sons. The firstborn called the name of her son Moab, saying, From my father I did conceive him. He is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger also called her son Ben-Ami. He is the father of the children of Ammon until this day. And after this, Lot and his two daughters went away from there, and he dwelt on the other side of the Jordan with his two daughters and their sons. And the sons of Lot grew up. They went and took themselves wives from the land of Canaan, and they begat children. They were fruitful and multiplied. I cannot even imagine how Lot must have felt, but I had to learn this lesson too. Even though we'd like to, we can't save family or so-called friends all the time, and you gotta watch out for those lovers too, because they, you think they're hand in hand with you, but the whole time, they looking back. So I had to learn this lesson a few times, like I said, with a few family members, former friends. Today it's get somebody else to do it. I've had enough of people wanting to blame me for their problems. It's not up to me to do the saving. It's up to me to live as an example to others. Christ is our Savior, which is why He does the saving. People are looking for the big time mega pastor, but the Most High don't always work like that. As for me, people are too caught up in the messenger. Some can't get over that it is me that is chosen to bring this message. I do feel bad for Lot's wife. I can't imagine being a parent knowing I'm leaving my child behind to die, but when the Most High says move, we have to do just that, move. This is why Christ said what he said in Matthew 10, verses 35 through 39, King James Version. The Most High is our Father, the Holy Spirit is our Mother Spirit, and this is why they come first. They, along with Yeshua, are the real first family. And so that is my lesson on Sodom and Gomorrah, and I really do thank you for tuning in and going through that with me. Not trying to shy away of what happened, with the angels and how they did. They were about to be attacked by the men that did happen, but some people try to make it seem like that is solely why Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed. And as you can see here, from what I just read, that is not the case. Yes, that did happen, but that's not the only reason why. He sent angels to Sodom and Gomorrah because of all the stuff that I just read. When the angels got there, that's what happened. God, the Most High, had already made plans on destroying this place, though.
Gomorrah was destroyed because of what America is doing now. Because of greed, because of the way they treated poor folk,
black folk.
That's why Sodom and Gomorrah, those were the sins of Sodom. Read your Bible like you tell us to do. What y'all don't really be understanding, a lot of us fags have been raised and ran through the Bible like the washing machine, bitch. We done been ran through the Bible.
Been studied it.
We had to know that, bitch. We had to get in Sunday school and the schools and vacation Bible schools and all this stuff. We had to have those things because our parents was trying to wash off the sins of their mothers and fathers.
My dad, and I'm just keeping it real. My dad, one time we got into it, and he thought I didn't remember how when I was a little kid, I climbed up in the cabinet and found his porn stash, and I go over this in the last chapter in my book. I talk about this, and when I watched his porn. I was a little kid. I had to be no more than 7 years old. But when I watched his porn, he had porn with transsexuals on there. And that messed me up. He will deny it to this day, but I know what I seen. I didn't even know what it was. I was no more than 7 years old. I couldn't even describe what I seen. All I seen was, they had, just like T.S. Madison say, titties at the top, but these, it was something else. But yeah, trying to wash off their sins. I talk about that.
Some religion inside of them, and they pass it down to us faggots. They pass it to us. Now, what they didn't understand, that pieces of those sins fell in us. It got washed off them and it fell on us.
Right.
So when y'all start talking to us about abominations and things, we went past that because we needed to understand who else going with us when we go. Because see, a lot of y'all don't think that y'all going because y'all ain't no homosexual. And I know this to be true because a lot of y'all don't think that y'all can get the AIDS. Because y'all think that just belongs to the homosexual. All of us can get trapped up in the sweep.
Mom, get that broom. We got some sweeping to do. Get that broom. We got some sweeping around here.
You think that the AIDS, because this is how y'all think it work. You think that the AIDS only works in this area.
Right.
No, the AIDS work on everybody block. that got a house, a door.
It can go this way.
It can go this way,
and this way.
Y'all think that. This how I know y'all read y'all Bibles in
halfway,
in sections, in pieces.
You're not understanding what you're reading.
Because you apply this to y'all everyday life too. I know this to be true, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you read a little bit further, sowing discord among the brethren is an abomination.
Mm-hmm.
Gossiping is an abomination.
Them poly blends that you're wearing from Shein
is an abomination. Eating crabs, shrimp, anything that's encased in shell is an abomination.
Tattooing your body
is an abomination. Piercing your body is an abomination.
Why did I think y'all just shaded each other though right now? Why does it feel like y'all shaded each other right now?
See, you sowing discord. You are abominating right now. Right. You are abominating.
I say it all the time. When sister such and such come into the church and y'all be in them cliques and y'all be gossiping about her, y'all abominating.
I love how you made that a verb.
Y'all need to be understanding this stuff when y'all go to fixing y'all mouth and talking out of the side, telling us trainees, punks, sissy, bulldaggers, and faggots about the Bible. Because see, we had to go and really look and study because we needed to know who was going to be at the fish fry with us.
And we worked there at the church with the deacons, the pastors, the choir directors, the choir members, the ushers,
the organ player.
Correct. We counting the money in the back from the offerings. And you got to remember, many of the fags, the FAGs, were touched at church or church camp. Now, I wasn't, but some were. So we know church.
In my hometown, there was a church, and I mean, it made national headlines even. They had a whole sex ring operation going on, and it was like 3 black pastors, and they was known. And they was, trafficking underage girls or an underage girl. So, and some of their wives even knew about it, so they got in trouble. Some of their wives even got in trouble. So that's heterosexual right there.
So we know church.
Yes, we do.
We wrote the gospel songs.
Mm-hmm.
We doing some of y'all hair at the church.
Stealing some of y'all
lusting
clothes.
after people, abomination.
Some of us are fucking the pastors.
Coveting your neighbor's
abomination.
Yeah.
Go a little bit further before you stop at the faggots.
You can't possibly think that
hold on. Be happy, be grateful. Hold on. Click on that. Click on that.
With this one?
He said, yeah, be happy, grateful.
You all are speaking of the Old Testament. Jesus said we have 2 commands: love God with all your heart, mind, and souls, and then to love your neighbor as you love yourself.
2 commandments.
But yes, also though,
when
he did come, he also said,
here go the abominator. Come on.
No, he also said,
come on, the abominator.
He said, I didn't come here to change the law. I came here to fulfill them.
Oh.
Hi. Be happy, be grateful. Hi, I'm here to walk with the Bible, walk with you through the Bible, and let's look at some of these scriptures. Hi. Now, when it's that red text, you know who that is, right? You know who's saying this, right? You know who's saying this. So you know what testament we in, right? Because you know these red letters. Everybody know what these red letters mean. Don't try to act like you don't know what these red letters mean, because this is Christ speaking. So I'm going to let Christ speak for itself. Matthew 5:17 through 19. This is what Mo was speaking about. Mo was correct, by the way. That's that Israelite. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. Let me read that again. Till heaven and Earth. 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 Pass. PASS. Till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. See, I gotta read that again. Because some people be like slow, so they don't understand what this is saying. Because see, I woke up today and heaven was above me and I'm on the earth. So heaven ain't passed and the earth is still here. And I'm here too. And I'm reading this and talking to you. So what that means is, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. All has not been fulfilled. Christ has not had his second coming yet to establish his kingdom on earth. You know, you can read about that in Revelation. Oh, well, you probably can't ask your pastor because, you know, a lot of them can't explain Revelation to you, which is why they don't teach Revelation. But anyway, verse 19, whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So that means that, so whoever teaching people that the law is done away with, you know how a lot of you Sunday pastors be saying, oh, we not under the law. We not under the law. Because Christ came. And, you know, we ain't under the law. That's that Old Testament stuff. Because right here in Romans, right here, Paul said this. Because they run to Paul. I've dealt with this. They run to Paul. But this is what Christ has to say. Whosoever, therefore, shall break one of these least commandments, meaning if you even break the least of the commandments, because remember, if you break one law, you break all, right? I mean, you know that. So that means if you break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But so what that means is at least you still got a chance of getting in the kingdom of heaven, but you're going to be called the least. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Okay. So that's kind of what that means. Hold on. Hey. All right. Now here we are in Matthew 22. All right. And so Matthew 22, starting at verse 36. Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay, pay attention to verse 40. Pay attention to verse 40. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. That means the Old Testament. That means the Old Testament. Let me prove it to you. Hold on. This is actually part 6 of a series that I have already done, but I am going to do this video. I'm going to do a video for this. It's called The Law of God versus the Law of Moses. And it says the law was not done away with. Did the law come from Ahiah, who is the Most High? He gave his name, I am, therefore I am. Exodus 3 verse 14, King James Version. I am that I am is translated to Ahiah, Ashar, Ahiah. Ahiah, Ashar, Ahiah means I am, therefore I am. And so in Exodus 3 and 14, they only gave the meaning of his name. They didn't give you his name. See, because back then, names was created by things that happened, like Moses, Moshe, or Masha, means to draw out of the water, because Moses was drawn out of the water. Well, okay, so I am, that's an action, but they just gave you the meaning of his name. They didn't give you his name. So just like in Hebrew, my name is Yakana, and that means a gift from God. So like if I was to switch my name with the Most High's in Exodus 3 and 14, I believe, it would say a gift from God versus Yakana. It should say Yakana, not the meaning of my name, not a gift from God. But anyway, Deuteronomy 4:14, King James Version. And the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go over to possess it. And the Lord directed me at that time, Deuteronomy 6, verse 25. My birthday, 6/25. I keep seeing that. King James Version, verse 25. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us, obey all this law in front of the Lord. The law came from God. Moses was the man God blessed to teach the law. And so, Ezra 7, verse 6. This Ezra went up from Babylon, and he was a ready scribe in the law of Moses, which the Lord God of Israel had given. And the king granted him all his requests according to the hand of the Lord his God upon him. Law of Moses, which Ahiah had given. That's a note from me. Ezra 7, 9 through 10, King James Version. For upon the first day of the first month, began he to go up from Babylon, and on the first day of the 5th month came he to Jerusalem, according to the good hand of his God upon him. Verse 10, for Ezra had prepared his heart to seek the law of the Lord, and to do it, and to teach in Israel statutes and judgments. Ezra taught law of Moses. That's a note from me. James 4, verse 12, King James Version. There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou that judgest another? The Most High gave us law. Was the law for Israel alone? Are others to have separate laws? Numbers 15, King James Version. Foreigners will live among you. If they give gifts to please the Lord, they must offer them the same way you do. The same rules will be for everyone, the Israelites and the foreigners living among you. This law will continue forever. You and the people living among you will be the same before the Lord. This means that you must follow the same laws and the same rules. These laws and rules are for you Israelites and for the other people who are living among you. Deuteronomy 8, King James Version, verse 11. Be careful, don't forget the Lord your God. Be careful to obey the commands, laws, and rules that I give you today. Nehemiah 8, King James Version, verse 17. And all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths, and sat under the booths, for since the days of Jeshua the son of Nun, unto that day had not the children of Israel done so, and there was very great gladness. Also, day by day, from the first day until the last day, he read in a book of the law of God. And they kept the feast 7 days, and on the 8th day was a solemn assembly, according unto the manner. Now this for me. We are to celebrate the holy days. He did not set them up to be done away with. These holy days were set up to keep you from worshiping pagan Satan holidays, birthdays, Father's and Mother's Days, Memorial and Labor Day, 4th of July, and you know the obvious ones like Easter, Ishtar. If it's one thing he hates is this holiday, Thanksgiving, what I call Thanksgiving, and Christmas, aka Saturnalia. Look up Saturnalia. Just look up Saturnalia. That's what Christmas was before Christmas even the word Christmas was known. It was called Saturnalia. And just like how I just read to you about what they was doing and with them orgies and the truth about Sodom and Gomorrah, that's what Saturnalia was. It was a festival where they would have orgies out in the woods. It had nothing to do with the birth of Christ. Christ was born in the last week of September during the Feast of Tabernacles. Let me repeat that. Christ was born, and that's a confirmation. Christ was born during the last week of September during the Feast of Tabernacles. So, a lot of people think because the law of Moses was kept by the side of the Ark of the Covenant and 10 Commandments inside, this shows a separation between them and the superiority of one over the other. This is a false way of thinking. This is referring to Deuteronomy 10, verses 4 through 5, King James Version, and Deuteronomy 31, verse 26, King James Version. There were two separate places, obviously, one inside the ark and the other outside of the ark at the side. Is this to show the eternal nature of the 10 Commandments on the inside and the temporary nature of the rest on the outside at the side? Deuteronomy 10, King James Version. Verse 4, and he wrote on the tables, according to the first writing, the 10 Commandments, which the Lord spake unto you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. I'm going to talk about that too. This mount is still present today. Research Jabal al laws, JABALALLAWS, Jabal al laws. But yeah, so this mount is still present today. The mount is still black from when the Most High came down and hovered over it. It's still there to this day. They even have sections guarded off where nobody can get to. It's in Saudi Arabia because of all the supernatural confirmation. All the supernatural stuff that's going on over there. So, the Lord spake unto you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly, and the Lord gave them unto me. And I turned myself and came down from the mount and put the tables in the ark which I had made. And there they be as the Lord commanded me. Deuteronomy 31, King James Version, verse 26. Take this book of the law and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there for a witness against thee. I don't think so. Think about what Yeshua commanded in the new covenant in Matthew 22, verse 36 through 40, King James Version. He gave the two greatest commands, which are love Ahia, the Most High, the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, and mind. And 2, love your neighbor as yourself. These are the greatest two commands. Let's put our thinking caps on and find where are these two commands found. Deuteronomy 6, verse 5, King James Version. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. This is his first law. Leviticus 19 and 18, King James Version. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. You know what that means? So that means that you Negroes, no, we can't hold a grudge against each other, but we can hold a grudge against our oppressors for what has happened to us. We can do that. Forget about the wrong things people do to you. Don't try to get even. Love your neighbor as yourself. And I'm speaking about within our people. Within our people. We need to learn how to forgive each other and, but yeah. When we getting shot down in the streets unarmed, no, ain't no forgiving that. No. Love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. This is his second law. Now let me be real clear with this. Both of these laws that are in the new covenant that you ignorantly claim to have replaced the whole entire law came from the old covenant. Neither of these are stated directly in the actual 10 Commandments, which is found in Exodus 20, later on given by Moses. And this is the finale for this. The 2 stone tablets equals Yeshaya's 2 greatest commands. Yeshaya is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Think of the 2 stone tablets like the index of a book. This book has 2 sections, 2 stone tablets. Our first section concerns our relationship with the Most High, God. The second section concerns our relationship with each other. Each section has its own chapters. The first section has 4 chapters that teach you how to love the Most High, Ahia, and the second section has 6 chapters that teach you how to love each other. That's how it works. It all works together. See, Christ was so smart that he simplified these 2 right here. These 2. See? These 2 right here. He simplified them into two laws. 2 laws. Because the people that he was talking to in Matthew, towards the end, those were converts. They did not look like him. Those people that he was talking, they didn't look like him at all. They was white. Just like how I'm about to go in on 2 white pastors. Or one is a pastor, but the other one, I don't know what the hell he is now. So, but yeah, these 2 right here, these 2 stone tablets, that's why I told you, hold on. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Yeah, these 2 right here, see?
He said, I didn't come here to change the law. I came here to fulfill them.
Okay. And he also flipped that table over there in the synagogue when they was down there selling the fish plates, bitch. In his name. God don't need you selling no fish plates down there to the church.
Right.
Y'all down there in his name. He came and said, y'all in here in my daddy's name selling these plates. You can turn that shit over.
Now, I do have a question for all of the Bible scholars. Miss Mary, I know you're watching, so you can type in here too. So, the Bible said, we were only supposed to eat from the garden.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't he feed people with 5 fish and some bread?
That was tuna.
But that's the fish ain't from the garden. That's
So, Craig, the short answer to that is when Adam sinned, because you are correct about the garden, but when Adam sinned, we became corruptible. And so our skin changed, everything changed. And now we have to eat decaying flesh to feed our decaying flesh. That's the short answer. I mean, I can go the long way, but when Adam sinned, he became corruptible, which led to us becoming corruptible. So that is why we eat animals now, bloodshed and all of that. So yeah, that's where that comes from.
So this is why I tell you hoes, if you hoes telling me about the Levitical law and y'all ain't walked down that Deuteronomic law, that Mosaic law, I don't want to hear nothing you hoes got to say to me.
Girl, they said the fish came from the pond that was in the garden.
Craig, listen, it was tuna. Whatever it was tuna. Well, girl,
all right, because I am going into this topic here pretty soon, I am going to give a little bit of this. Speaking of Deuteronomy 28, well, speaking of Deuteronomy, because Maddie just said Deuteronomy. Speaking of Deuteronomy, let's see what she's talking about. I made this post December 5th, 2020. Whose children are standing on the corners of the streets, the block, as some may call it, selling drugs, gambling, inspiring? Thy sons have fainted. This is Isaiah 51:20. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets, meaning the corners, as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God. Whose kids are those? Standing on a block, sparring, fighting, deleting people, selling pharmaceuticals. Who doing that? What race of people fill the jails, aka modern day slavery? Isaiah 42 verse 22 and Deuteronomy 28 and 23. This is Isaiah 42 verse 22. But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore. That means that nobody was going to be able to restore us or deliver us. Not Martin Luther King, not Malcolm X, not Marcus Garvey, nobody. Not even Kamala Harris, not Obama. And he even told you that you didn't need a Messiah. This was one of the curses in Deuteronomy if we didn't keep our end of the covenant, which we never have. Deuteronomy 28 verse 23. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. Question 3. In the Negro community, are women the head of the home? Isaiah 3 verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee to cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. And you can read the rest of this, because I'm going to talk about this. Black Jews in Africa and the Americas by Tudor Parthit, page 111. There are both oral and written explanations that trace the origin of the Igbo, and the most tantalizing is an association of the Igbo to the Hebrew race. This assumption is based on the fact that Igbo culture has many similar traditional customs like that of the Jews. Similar customs are observed in marriage negotiations, childbirth, and circumcision, restitution, attitude to totem animals and taboos, as well as hospitality to others, especially to strangers. The Igbo are therefore said to be the split and lost group, or the tribe of Israel that refused to wander further northeast with Moses but preferred going down southward. Encyclopedia of the Jewish Diaspora. Origins, Experiences, and Culture, Volume 1. Page 494 by Mark Avram Ehrlich, Professor of Judaic Studies. The Igbo people have many Jewish traditions. No, the Jewish have many Igbo traditions. Because the Jewish are converts. Naum Katz, the current Israeli ambassador in Nigeria, and others point to their possible ancient Israelite origins. The scholars have done extensive research on the Igbo and compared their traditions to the biblical Israelites. They came to the conclusion that their customs are strikingly similar to the biblical Israelites, and that the only way the Igbo tribe could be practicing the customs of the biblical Israelites so accurately is that they must be the biblical Israelites. What is the important factor between the Igbo tribe and the Negro? What is the important factor between the Igbo tribe and the Negroes in America? When you do your own research, you will find that the Igbo tribe was one of the main sought-out tribes that was captured and sold into slavery. Through the transatlantic slave trade, the Igbo was one of the main tribes that came to the Americas. Atlas of the Transatlantic Slave Trade, page 127, by Professor David Eltis and Professor David Richardson. The British were the major buyers before they banned their own slave traffic in 1807. They were replaced by the Portuguese and Spanish for as long as the traffic continued here. The majority of the captives were speakers of Igbo dialects. The native Africans, the children of Ham, and Europeans knew exactly who they were selling. The Romans, the Europeans, are Satan. They started out as a snake in Genesis and grew into a dragon in Revelation. The Romans go into other people's native lands, conquering the native people in the land by killing their men and raping their women, which produce lighter skinned offspring. Mixing of races. Worst of all, after the Romans do their evil deeds, they take the history of the people they conquer. They hide, destroy, rename, or change, alter, iconoclasm, aka whitewash, the indigenous people's history and records completely. This is how they did us, the true children of Israel. They stole our history and culture, claiming to be God's chosen people, when they are really the synagogue of Satan. These black Christian churches don't even have a clue. They too busy collecting illegal tithes and pushing the prosperity movement. The black church is dead. God is not dealing with these churches, period. They push doctrines of law is done away with and Sunday worship, which is lawlessness. They believe they can live however they want because they are under grace. They barely read the Bible with understanding, which is why many lack the true knowledge of the doctrine of Christ. This is why no one talks about black history prior to the 1600s, because the possibility of blacks finding out who they truly are. If blacks started digging prior to the 1600s and they find out they descend from Igbo tribe, who are known for a fact, scientifically proven to descend from the 12 tribes of Israel, a lot of blacks would be like, hold up, something not right. This is why the history books don't go past the 1600s. Blacks, we were not supposed to find out their true identity, nor ours. We went from Negroes and colored to African Americans. I know a lot of people ask, if we are the true children of God, of the God of Israel, why does he keep letting us go through slavery, building up other nations or kingdoms? Well, the answer is Jeremiah 16, 10 through 15. And I'm skipping past that. A long time ago, a man by the name of Moses brought our ancestors out of slavery in Egypt by the way of the Most High. When our ancestors were in the wilderness, they entered into a blood in, blood out covenant with the Most High God of Israel. He kept his end of the covenant, but we have yet to keep our end of the agreement, unfortunately. Exodus 24, 7 through 8. What a lot of people don't realize, the Most High is very hood. This covenant is like being in a gang. There is no way out alive. And even in death, you still have to deal with him face to face. He kept his end of the bargain, but to this day, we still don't keep his commandments, which was our end of the deal that we had to uphold. It doesn't matter if you was there or if you don't agree. One of your ancestors was there and they agreed for you. What is that old hood saying? It is what it is. Whether you agree or not, this covenant is still what it is, which is why many of our young black men are dying and killing each other. Remember, there's a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Proverbs 7:12, King James Version. Also keep in mind 13, enter ye at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Matthew 7:13-14, King James Version. This is where Deuteronomy 28 comes in. If we kept his laws, we would have been ruling the earth instead of white folk. But since we didn't keep his laws, by default we inherited the curses of Deuteronomy 28:15-68. People who don't want to face the truth always say, why you always focus on the curses? I focus on the curses mainly because that is the state we as a people are currently in. Duh. At one point, yes, we were very blessed. Deuteronomy 28:1-14, King James Version. But things have changed due to our actions. The reason why the satanic doctrine, the Old Testament, is done away with is pushed to keep people from reading Deuteronomy 28:15-68, King James Version, and applying it to slavery here in America. Deuteronomy 28:43-46. You see it? Talking about that stranger, right? Okay. Whites living in mansions and suburbs while blacks live in the ghettos, projects, and hoods. Who runs this country? Not Obama. Who owns the banks? Who loans money to who? You really mean to tell me you don't understand the who's the Most High is speaking of? He said these curses will be forever. No matter where we go, they will follow. Verse 48. Slaves were in the poorest conditions, and in 1863, God took the yokes from around our necks with Abraham Lincoln signing the Emancipation Proclamation, but we were already destroyed by then. Our history and culture was beaten out of us. Let's be clear, Lincoln only signed the Emancipation Proclamation into play because the South was becoming more powerful financially by way of the free labor of the slaves. If the North had not put an end to the South's money, the South could have overtaken the country as a whole. Please don't be foolish to think he did something special for us. He did not like Negroes either, even though he was one. Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. During slavery, families were split apart, women raped, and they even used our babies as gator bait. It should not be hard to figure out who this Bible is speaking to and about. Some of these, if not all of these curses, describe our conditions today, right now, down to the T. Truth. No man shall buy you is old Quaker English for no man shall save you, which any black leader that has stepped up to lead has been murdered. And then, just think about it. When these people came and they took the land from the natives, they smashed babies' heads on rocks. When I told you about the gator bait, you seen that Prince of Egypt movie? You seen how the babies was thrown to the crocodiles in the Nile River, and then it would happen when we got over here again. Ain't no coincidences. 61. It's going to get worse if we don't turn back. You want to know why these kids are missing? We have never kept our end of the covenant. You want to know why there's black on black crime? We didn't keep our end of the covenant. You want to know why there's so many single parent homes and why our Negro men and women fill the jails for slave labor? We didn't keep our end of the covenant. Why are we number one in cancer, HIV, AIDS, man-made? We didn't keep our end of the covenant. Why are we number one in hypertension, high blood pressure? We didn't keep our end of the covenant. Why are we number one in diabetes, high cholesterol? We didn't keep our end of the covenant. Why are we number one in all negative aspects across the board? We didn't keep our end of the covenant, but yet our lives are spared, and that is better than any house, car, or materials that paper can buy. Thawada, Barakatha, Shalawam, Kwam Yasha'arla. It's real simple. God gave us a choice to follow him and receive blessings or walk after other gods, committing spiritual fornication, which result in the picture you see, the curses. Trust me, we are the highest ranked out of all the races for these diseases and mass incarceration. When you going to learn nothing is by coincidence, especially if it was prophesied in the Bible. Negroes, natives, and Latinos. We truly need to wake up. Let's look at some of these pictures. This Deuteronomy 28 and 54. That's the verse right here at the bottom, under him. We all know what this is from. We all know this movie. What he did to Ricky. And, I'm just moving on. See? We didn't keep our part of the covenant. See that Isaiah 51 and 20? Yeah. Who was that? Who was that? Yep. Full of fury. Yes. There's a difference. The authentic families of Ham. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. But the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, and the Somalians come from the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. So if you're from like Liberia, Nigeria, parts of the Congo, the Ivory Coast, Ghana, you are Hebrew, baby. You are an Israelite. That's your bloodline. Ooh, now this is my favorite book right here. Now, I love this. This is one of my favorite. Egyptologists and cranial experts. The Black Image in the White Mind, page 74 through 75. In the 1840s, Dr. Morton collaborated with George R. Gliddon, an Egyptologist who provided him with mummy heads and information about the racial significance of Egyptian tomb inscriptions. In Crania Egyptiaca, published in 1844, Morton pointed out that both cranial and archaeological evidence showed that the Egyptians were not Negroes, as abolitionists and colonizationists had maintained. And in fact, black had been relegated to the same servile position in ancient Egypt as in modern America. So they came together because, see, they was trying to prove that we was not the same people that was slaves in Egypt. And you know who the slaves was? Don't get dumb now. You know who the slaves was? Don't get dumb now. Yeah. You need to read the book of Obadiah about this. Oh, I'm going to go there. See? All of this. It's right in your face. Red and blue. Crazy. This book is about us. All these captivities. Look, all these captivities to get dates. All these captivities. Look at that. Look at him holding that baby. And mom. See, these scriptures hit different when you put these pictures on here. See, this is how I like to learn the Bible. These scriptures hit a little different. Read that Deuteronomy 28 and 30. Some of our people need to hear this. I see it in the stores. I seen a little girl in the store the other day with her mama. I mean, her shorts was so short, and this girl was not even 13 years old. But she looked every bit of 16. And you should have saw her shorts. It was a shame. It was a shame. But hey, protect black women though, right? And yeah, because Sunday ain't even a Sabbath. Look. You look just like these men on these walls. Look, Egypt. Look, that's from the Prince of Egypt movie. The top one, Egypt. That's from the Prince of Egypt movie. Look at Moses with the stick. Same thing happened. You can't tell me that we not these people. You could try to deny this all you want to, but these scriptures hit a lot different when you put these pictures with it. This is talking about us.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be, for the statement I'm about to make, I'm going to be called a racist. And I will be called every name under the sun.
Well, at least you know it.
But somebody needs to stand up and speak to the black church. When the largest African American Pentecostal denomination, when that leader stands up and said, I endorse that woman, he was saying, I endorse murder. I endorse homosexuality. I endorse lesbianism. I endorse transgenderism. I endorse every evil that hell could prosper or bring up to the right. That's wrong, folks. And the black church votes predominantly for the party that is anti-God. What's going on here? What's going on? See, my statement to them is this. We've had them call into the program. I don't like it when you talk about lies. Well, no, the problem is they don't like it because we're stepping on their toes. Hello? But I guarantee you, if 1860 was today, they wouldn't say a word about preachers preaching against slavery. They would trumpet it, and they should.
Okay, so my thing is this. Now, you got this white man sitting up here talking about somebody need to talk to the black church and all of this different stuff. But you black folks that's in this congregation, you ask him, is he for reparations for Negroes due to the atrocities that his ancestors took out on us due to our disobedience, because we never kept our end of the covenant. But still, the Most High didn't tell them to do all of that which they have done to us. See, that is why I did one of my most recent videos, Gentiles cut off, because he's a Gentile, but Gentiles cut off because of this kind of boasting and bragging. Like the Republican Party has so much to offer. Didn't Trump say that he wasn't a Christian? Those words came out of his mouth. He's not a Christian. He don't believe in the same Jesus that you claim to believe in. Talking about this dude and people like him, another white pastor that he's not a pastor no more, that I'm going to talk about. His people. So you mean to vote for the party that did January 6th, right? The riot. You mean vote for them, right? Neither party is for God's people, for his chosen people, for his true Israel people, Negroes, natives, and Latinos. Neither party. But like I said, I am not with Project 2025. But ask this man, are you for reparations? Since you want to bring up slavery, are you for reparations for Negroes? I guarantee you, he gonna come up with some shucking and jiving answer. It's either a yes or a no. We don't need no long drawn out theories. It's either a yes or a no. Are you for reparations? Because you're going to find out that 9 times out of 10, he's not. Which means he's not for you either. Probably one of them white evangelicals that sit quiet when Negroes, who are the true children of Israel, get deleted in the street unarmed by police officers. Because a lot of them sit quiet. Let's take the sexuality out. A lot of them sit quiet. Even in the Republicans. You have people like Mitch McConnell. And that governor, whoever he is, down in Florida. You got some nerve. But I'm going to get into you, though. I'm going to get into you because I am tired of white men or men that look like you trying to address anything black. Anything black.
So then, why will not the African American church stand up for righteousness and stand up for the Word of God? Come on, church. Come on. You can call me a racist. You can call me every name under the sun, but I am right. I come against you in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. You don't.
No, sir. You are wrong. You are wrong. And we are still going to call you racist and all these names. Because for me, it's not even about voting for Kamala Harris. It's you. How dare you have anything to say trying to address anything black? And then trying to give a lecture voting for, oh, because your mama voted for, or because your daddy voted for. Man, shut that up. Because your ancestors continued to hang our people because their mama and daddy taught it to them. Ooh. And it's still happening today in this country. Are you talking about the black people that's being lynched, that's being hung? Probably not. But you're so quick to want to address the black church, huh? Are you addressing your white brothers? Probably not. You an old senile fool, whoever this man is. You an old senile fool. You don't know the scriptures. Christ don't recognize you. You an old fool. Your ancestors is Esau. That's who you are. That's where you come from. You come from the Caucasus Mountains.
For somebody just because mama voted them or daddy voted for them, but you vote according to the word of God.
Okay, so another thing, fools like that pastor that was just speaking, they love to run to Romans 13, and they love to relate that to a government, but God has not ordained this government. Are you crazy? This government was built on the foundations of secret societies and Freemasonry, which is Satanism. Okay? The real Illuminati, the Peruvian Illuminati, the real ones, not Jay-Z and Beyonce, but the real ones. Okay? The founding fathers, they were Freemasons. Okay? And it gets real grimy on that side. They practice Satanism. But see, they run to this Romans 13 to try to relate it to the government. But this government is not ordained by God. Even if you take the sexuality out of it. This government was built on your people that look like you coming over here, stealing the land. It doesn't matter if they was warring over the land. You fight in your house with your wife sometimes. Would that be okay just because you and your wife is fighting for me to come in there and delete both of you and smash your baby's head on a rock and claim your house as mine? No. Okay? Even if two people get into it, doesn't matter the color. Even if two people get into it and somebody gets deleted, does that mean some unknown party can just come in and take the insurance policy money or land or anything like that? No. So all of that is null and void. Speaking about the people that were already here were already fighting, all that. Doesn't matter. But that's what you people do too. You love to deflect. You love to look at everybody else and deflect from what you have done and still is doing to this day. God does not ordain this government. And if this government ordained God, they definitely wouldn't have took the 10 Commandments out of the schools. Are you talking about that? No, you ain't talking about that because you so busy wanting to address the black church. You need to sit your old senile tail down. And anybody that was in that church and you black, you clapping for him, you are a part of the problem. You are part of the problem. To sit there and let that old senile man, I don't care what he talk about, the moral, that, okay, whatever. That's his opinion about the sexual immorality, all of that. But many of them Republicans, they be on the same thing. They be on the same thing. It's this app called Grindr. Okay? At a Republican convention, I heard somewhere in Colorado or somewhere in one of them states where they lily white, the service for Grindr crashed because there was so much action going on. You hear about the little white boy having sex in a government room. Yeah, y'all into that freaky deaky stuff too, but see, y'all like to hide it and act like you so high and mighty. All them people rub elbows at the Bohemian Grove. Don't act like you don't know what that is. Your Republican Party members, they ain't no better. They just as freaky. They hire escorts and all. They just keep theirs under the rug a little bit. They even worse than the Democrats. At least the Democrats is open about what they support. But them Republicans, they get down too. A lot of them. And then they got the nerve to hate black. Then they got the nerve to hate black men, right? But them be the ones that be hiring the black escorts because they want to get the BBC. But I'm telling you, they run to Romans 13 because of this verse. Let every soul be subject unto higher powers, for there is no power of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. No, God didn't. He was talking about his disciples, his son, the Messianic order. He was talking about that and not the Pope. Sorry, not the false prophet. No, not him. He was talking about his men, the Israelite men, Abraham, David, Christ, the disciples, and who they left in place. He didn't have nothing to do with the governments. That's why he said, render to Caesar what's Caesar's. He didn't have nothing to do with that. Christ already knew his Father didn't ordain that. They didn't ordain that. But that'll show you, these people are unlearned in the scriptures. That's why it gives the law in here. But they took the law out of the school, so remember that.
Come out from among them and be ye separate, says the Lord of hosts. If you are a Christian, start acting like...
I want to piggyback off what he's just said.
And so do I.
He said, come out from amongst them and be ye separate. You know he kin to Jimmy Swaggart. You remember Jimmy Swaggart, the event, the TV event, he was down there buying all the prostitutes and run up them folks' money. He a descendant of Jimmy Swaggart.
They're related.
Ain't they kinfolk? Ain't that's his granddad? Yeah, that's just Jimmy Swaggart's people.
Oh,
I bet you there was some niggas in that audience.
And let's be clear here. Why it got to be a black church? Why it just can't be church?
Oh, they
since you said
they said it's his son.
that's his son.
Yeah,
okay, well your daddy, your daddy had you too many stepmamas. But
Right.
while he was a pastor. So since we want to come out from amongst them and be ye separate, let's really talk. Okay? Let's talk about why we got a black church and a white church.
The same reason we got a black pride and a white pride.
And let's talk about, since we talking about come out from amongst them and be ye separate. So you niggas need to sit back and really look at this since they endorse. What y'all think Trump for the Lord?
Exactly.
Y'all really think Trump is for the Lord?
He said he
if
wasn't
it don't
Christian.
look like a white Christian cracker nigga, it ain't got shit to do with you. That's why I'm still on the fence with you colored niggas sitting over here with the mind frame of you even thinking about going in that motherfucking direction. Since we talking about coming out from amongst them and be ye separate, that book, the Bible that you preaching out of, why y'all don't talk about how that kept people enslaved?
Hello.
And still today, mentally.
Why y'all don't talk about how y'all walked over there on the land and handed them this? Come on, Craig, help me out. Help me.
You in Desmond Tutu's line?
Help me out.
Desmond Tutu said, when white folks showed up in Africa, we had all of the land and they were holding the Bible. We closed our eyes they had all of the land and we were standing there holding the Bible.
Why y'all don't preach about that? How y'all took, ravished, murdered, killed, and built this whole country off of the backs of coloreds? Why y'all ain't preaching? Why y'all don't want to talk about? Why y'all want that to be wiped out of history?
Correct.
Exactly.
Why? Why y'all don't want to talk about this?
They are like a cancer.
Why when George Floyd got killed up there and y'all was acting like shit wasn't even going on in y'all white motherfucking church, bitch? Because please believe, if I ain't never turned off motherfucking the Trinity Broadcasting Network, bitch, it was chopped off in this motherfucking house.
Right.
And TBN is nothing but free masonry as well. Their symbol, you know, the shield with the lions and stuff like that, baby, that's all Freemasonry. That's all Masonic symbolism. Yes, they're with the shits too. They're into Freemason sorcery. So don't be fooled. So when you're sending all your little money over there to Paula, not so pure white, and Benny Hennessy and Joyce Joker Face Meyer, just know you being scammed. But hold on, why y'all don't want to talk about this?
Okay, an immigrant left a receipt in the store, and you know how I got the food stamp remaining balance at the bottom of the receipt, right? $13,500 with a $5,000 cash, Larry. Somebody that's not from this country. Now, you are a veteran, and you also served this country, correct?
Correct.
Now tell these people, after I just said they left the receipt with a $13,000 food stamp balance.
You can tell how
Tell
angry
these
he is.
people, as a veteran that served this country, right? Tell them how much food stamps you get in a month.
$23. That's so sad. That's so messed up.
23, not 2,300,
$23.
not 230. How much you getting in food stamps a month?
$23 a month.
America, you should be ashamed of your goddamn self. See if Kamala gonna fix that. Is it not a slap in the face?
It is definitely a slap in the face.
So the White House is unable to track billions of dollars sent to Ukraine, and the U.S. Treasury is unable to track trillions of dollars in pandemic spending, yet the IRS wants to know where your $5.38 is, or you're going to jail.
Actually kind of sad how.
I wonder why. It's because they are backing those imposter Jewish converts. They know who those people are. They know that one of their origin places is in Ukraine. Okay? They used to be a part of Russia. They wanted to go from Israel back to Ukraine, but Russia said no. Because they know what's coming to Israel, baby. That's why they ramping it up. They know what's coming there. They know the purge is coming there. The Most High is going to purge that place. And they want to get out of Dodge.
When George Floyd got killed up there and y'all was acting like shit wasn't even going on in y'all white motherfucking church, bitch. Because please believe, if I ain't never turned off motherfucking the Trinity Broadcasting Network, bitch, it was chopped off in this motherfucking house.
Right.
Because I watched the way they moved. I watched the way those saved crockers moved during that.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God.
And sir, don't tell us about what we need to be talking about in our churches. What you all need to be talking about is how you all have created double standards since the beginning of time. How you all continue to move the finish line every single time you think we're getting close to catching up.
Exactly.
They're like a cancer. They take more than they need to survive. They do it in the environment. You see it in the ocean. They're all in the ocean. Looking like, what are y'all looking for in the middle of the ocean? I meant to pull that video. These white folks were out in the middle of the ocean. It's like the fact that he's talking about, if you're telling people to vote for Kamala, then you're endorsing not transphobia, but
transgenderism.
Transgenderism, lesbianism. Damn, I can't even get my words right.
But my question is, why you left out all the things that affecting black folks
and all of the things that Trump is guilty of? So that's the best option. That's the best option.
You ain't addressed any of his crimes that he has been convicted of.
Correct.
Because you see, as a crocker, you see him, you see yourself in him. Because you ain't your daddy over there, all the crimes that all the crimes your daddy did with the horse.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. My question is, why you left out all the things that affecting black folks
and all of the things that Trump is guilty of? So that's the best option. That's the best option.
Right.
You ain't addressed any of his crimes that he has been convicted of.
Correct.
Exactly.
Because you see, as a crocker, you see him, you see yourself in him. Because you ain't your daddy over there, all the crimes that all the crimes your daddy did with the church's money, with the people's money, with those whores.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
It's like they try to play blind to the ills of Trump.
Come out from amongst them and be ye separate, thus saith the Lord.
But see, this is why black folks don't trust. Historically, why we haven't trusted. And even when we've tried to regain trust and try to give the benefit of the doubt, there's always that moment, there's always that opportunity that they take to prove to us or to remind us why we can't trust them. It always shows up. And I'm not saying all white people. I'm talking about the culture of white people.
True.
And had the unmitigated, come on, Craig, help me with this. The unmitigated gall to bring up slavery.
Right.
To bring up slavery in your church and then speak any word in the direction of a black church.
And talking about what would have happened in 1860. First of all, black folks didn't even have a voice in 1860.
Correct.
Exactly.
And why in the fuck y'all not listening to this nigga talking about he wants to invoke the act of 1798. Do you hear these white people talking about the age and time periods where they were thriving over you?
Yes.
Where they were thriving over you, your peoples, you don't hear. I heard it. That's why I went.
Right.
And I'm not acting. And let us be clear here, because there's something that we need to address. Because I said, Craig, we was gonna talk about.
Uh-huh.
Let us be clear here. I'm not acting like the Democratic Party.
Correct.
I'm not sitting over here acting like.
I'm looking at these two candidates. I'm not talking about the parties as a whole.
I'm not talking about
these two people that are running.
I'm not talking about like the Democratic Party is the savior. I'm not talking about. I don't think nothing about that. But I see when I see it clearly in my face.
Right.
What's going on? I'm not going in that motherfucking direction, okay? When I see it clearly in my fucking face.
Correct.
See, a lot of you oblivious to the shit because you hearing them saying trans, gay, this. Oh, none of that don't affect me.
Yeah.
Let them all fry.
Right.
But you're not reading the fine print.
Right. And y'all remember when those fucking groceries groceries are still high, but remember when eggs were like fucking $9? Like I said, I don't eat eggs, so it didn't bother me. But Trump is talking about putting a 20% tax on all things, a minimum of 20%. What you think your grocery bill gonna be then?
So those people that are on Twitter right now pointing out to me about how the Democratic Party ain't this and the other, I'm not motherfucking talking about that. I don't give a fuck what Jill Stein and the Green Party are. They ain't nowhere. They ain't neck and neck with these two motherfucking people that's running.
Right.
They ain't neck and neck with them. They ain't got it's not a chance in hell.
At all.
It ain't a chance in fucking hell.
But I do believe that she's gonna win. I believe she's going to win. I'm prepared if she's not, but I do believe she's going to win. But
I do think she's going to win too. I just hope she's able to clear the Electoral College, because that's exactly what happened last time with Hillary. So, I mean, the people can go out and vote, but got to get past the Electoral College. I'm going to come back to this because I got something else I want to show you.
Oh, you broke. So you must be broke. Oh, you broke. See, here you go again. Okay, you're not listening. So let me tell you a little gay what the truth is. Here's what's up, sissy boy.
Hey, he ain't gay.
I gave all my. Yeah, he acting like. Well, stop coming with the female energy then, man. You don't know me. I gave all my shit away, you dumb. I run 4 nonprofits. I put 300 grand into my nonprofit of my own money. Hey, I'm not through talking. Shut up while a real man is talking. Hey, stop talking about get off live. 6, motherfucker. Don't listen. 6.
So you got rich off of it.
I didn't get rich off broke ass church, nigga. You stupid.
So
get the fuck out of here.
As a white man, came into the black church, got rich off of us.
Yeah. Look at this shit. Now you begging. With your begging ass. Looking just like them cave beasts. Coming straight from the Caucasus Mountains with your Esau ass. You don't need no donations. You got money. Calling others broke. Listen to him cough up your lungs. Just lost.
Damn.
Choke.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, you sorry with your sorry ass. Ugh. You can imitate, but you can't duplicate. You want to be black so bad, but no, you are a lost white man that has been wearing a mask. You already showed your horns. Devil. Pale-faced demon ass. This shit that's on his arm, this that secret society shit. Look at that crescent moon and that star. All of this is that coexist secret society. See, he in the club too. While he talking about other people's sexuality, I bet you he in the club too. Lost. These ain't nothing but deceivers that come into the church, but they fool y'all because y'all so dumb and welcoming. This man looking just like Satan. Ugh, just look at his eyes. Look at his face. How can you not tell that this is a deceiver, bro? This is a deceiver. Ew. And for all these dumb people that saying he really thought he was black, no. And you hear him calling that black man a nigga. But see, that's because we make these wannabe black people come in so bad. I want them to understand dad is white, mom is black, you are biracial. Exactly. He is white. He's not black. He's white. They slither in. They get your energy. They get your money. They get your support. Because you are the church. Delusional. You delusional. No spiritual discernment, man. Nah, Church of Garbage in Crisis. Because that's what I call Kojic. Because they one of the biggest cults. Nah, Church of Garbage in Crisis, don't run now. You all welcome this caveman in with open arms. But this is what you do. You are so unlearned in the scriptures that it's easy to fool you. Just like Kanye came in and fooled you as well. This is a man who claimed to be a god. He never believed in Christ. This man sacrificed his own mama for fame/money, just like you read in the Bible where the Israelites sacrificed their own kids to Molech. He used your energy, gained your support, and now he is denouncing Christ. I tried to warn you about him and Hollywood, period, but you said I was crazy. Just like Kanye, this man never believed in Christ, and now he even told you for himself. This proves that most of you who accepted them don't have the spirit of discernment. All it takes is a big ego, a little flash, a little money, lavish materials, shucking, jiving, hooting, and hollering to get most of these black church folk to follow you. And that's the truth. That's not shade. That's not a read. That's the truth. Some of these men don't even be learned in the scriptures. That's why you allow foolishness like Bishop Eddie Long. That's why you allow that. And then when others try to expose it, you hush them up. I talked about a church in Florida that let members go out of their church so they could keep a man that's a pedophile, a known pedophile, as a pastor. What's wrong with y'all? Oh, but you so focused on the homosexuals and don't even realize that even though you are a cisgender man and woman and y'all are married, but if you are performing oral sex on each other, you are committing sodomy. You're a sodomite too. That's what sodomy is. Don't matter if you married or not. If you are sucking him and he is licking you, you're a sodomite. Hi. Welcome to the club. Church is nothing but entertainment today. It's the dummies talking about how they are going to pray for him. Why? Most of our people wouldn't even pray for their own people. So why pray for a snake? The man is naturally a heathen / pagan. He is part of that New World Order coexist garbage. This is why he was trying to tie Christianity and Buddhism together. It's the BS that Oprah be on with her Christ is not the only way to the Father crap. This is a plan that has been implemented in small, subtle ways since the late 80s, starting with the prosperity movement going into the mega church movement. You know, where all your favorite people like Creative Flow of Dollars and TD Jake the Snake Mistake. Yeah. And then it'd be so funny to me how many of you people in the black church, many of you people, you will shun your transgender family members, but you supported one of the biggest transgenders. I mean, you supported one of the biggest drag queens on the face of the earth. Made him a multi-black millionaire. Ain't that something? That's crazy. And you see what kind of content he's producing today. Always got the black woman in a bad light. But yeah, you still go run and spend your money. Hey, but I guess protect black women, right? Protect black women. Esau had an agenda all along to get Negroes, Jacob, away from the Bible and start focusing on other books, religions such as Hinduism and Buddhism. Why else do you think he came to the black church? Why didn't he go be with the Asians? Because ding dong, he went to seminary school and they gave him the plan there. He knows who the real children of Israel are, just like the ones who taught him the plan. No. Esau had this plan since Genesis 27 verses 41 and 42 King James Version because of what happened in Genesis 25 verses 29 through 34 King James Version. If you want more detail, watch my video titled The Answer to Why Do They Hate Us? What did we do to them? He works for them. The imposter Jewish elite bankers, the Roman Catholic Church, the Jesuit secret societies, and his goal is to get my people away from Christ and the Bible. Look at the tats on him that I circled in the pic. You see that red crescent moon and star? The conjoined representation of a crescent
and a star is used in various historical contexts, including as a prominent symbol of the Ottoman Empire. One moment. I'm going to just read some stuff about the Ottoman Empire here. King James, and this is from my book, King James was a true protector of what we call today the truth. So to sum it all up, there were two types of Catholic knowledge taught in history. You first have the Byzantine type, which was the study of the universe and all in it, and then the Ottoman Turk Roman Catholic states, which teaches garbage, aka theology and idol worship. The term Catholic was originally an Israelite term that means universal or university, not a religion. Understanding this does not mean that Israelites are now Catholic by religion, because the term Catholic is not a religion at all. The word Catholic is another word for the truth, which can only be found throughout the understanding that Christ gave based on the writings of our ancestors, the Israelites. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me see, then going down. What page is this? Page 480 of 1368. In the Ottoman period, 1517 AD through 1917 AD, the Sultan was the sole and absolute regent, head of state, and head of government of the empire, at least officially, though often much power shifted due de facto to other officials, especially the Grand Vizier. The Jewish Sephardi impostors population of the Palestine region was at approximately 10,000 during the first half century of Ottoman rule. Bold development projects for reviving the Holy Land were conceived by Jewish courtiers in Constantinople, such as Don Garcia Mendez and Don Joseph Nazi. Jerusalem, Tiberias, and above all, Safed became centers of Jewish spiritual and commercial activity. Many of the gains achieved by Islamic Jewry during the 16th century was lost over the next 200 years as Ottoman rule became more inefficient, corrupt, and religiously conservative. At the height of its power in the 16th and 17th centuries, it controlled territory in southeastern Europe, southwestern Asia, and North Africa. The Ottoman Empire contained 29 provinces and numerous vassal states, some of which were later absorbed into the empire, while others were granted various types of autonomy during the course of centuries. The empire also temporarily gained authority over distant overseas lands through declarations of allegiance to the Ottoman Sultan and Caliph, such as the declaration by the Sultan of ACEH. I forget what that is. In 1565, or through temporary acquisitions of islands such as Lanzarote in the Atlantic Ocean in 1585. 30 Jewish, Sephardi, and Pashtun Jewish communities exist at the time in Haifa, Shechem, Hebron, Ramleh, Jaffa, Gaza, Jerusalem, and many in the north. The city of Safed became a spiritual center. Kabbalah flourished among Sephardi Jews, which are converts. So those Sephardi Jews, it's only like 2%
they make up 2% of the population. So they are Semitic because they come from Esau. They do not come from Jacob. So they have no ties to the promise. And them Ashkenazi Jews, that's how they try to tie their way in. We're, the Sephardi Jews. That's all you hear them talk about is the Sephardi Jews, because that's they link into to this big old scam and lies. So the city of Safed became a spiritual center. Kabbalah flourished among the Sephardi Jews, which are converts, and Safed even before the arrival of Isaac Luria, known as the Ari, its most famous resident. Note, between 1882 and 1948, a series of Jewish Khazarian migrations to what is the modern nation of Israel, known as Aliyah's Kametz, started. These migrations precede the Zionist period. Hold on. Okay. Okay, and so I read that on the Ottoman Empire. And so basically the Ottoman Empire is the one pretty much who started the Catholic Church and stuff like that. And in contemporary times, as a national symbol by some countries, this is talking about I'm going to start this over. The conjoined representation of a crescent and a star is used in various historical contexts, including as a prominent symbol of the Ottoman Empire, which is I just read, and in contemporary times as a national symbol by some countries, and as a symbol of Islam. You all know that I already did a video on Islam proving that excuse me. I'm sorry, I have to fix this right now. There was no Islam or Quran before the 7th century. It was a religion made up by the Roman Catholic Church to combat the Israelites, aka Messianics, in order after the Messiah. Hey, don't get mad at me, and remember, you are the dummies that fell for his scheme, and now you are all shocked and appalled. Please, what was his agenda? The same agenda as TD Mistake, Benny Hennessy, Joker Face Michael Myers, whose office furniture alone costs more than people's homes. Creative flow of dollars, and the rest of the crackerjack phony bishops / pastors on that Illuminati station TBN has, which is to promote the Jewish imposter while trying to keep the real Jews, Negroes, Natives, and Latinos' identity a secret. This is why they woo you in these churches with theories and philosophies that don't align with the scriptures. You get so mad at me, but yet you allow this trash to come in, learn our sauce, and leave calling you niggas. Once again, the lack of knowledge concerning history and the scriptures has left you with your foot in your mouth. I saw him on stage shucking and jiving with TD Mistake. While he is calling out other men's sexuality, I wouldn't doubt if he's been swallowed up while doing the satanic rituals that have left him desolate. Nah, knowing his kind, he probably did the swallowing. I know a cum dump when I see one. When a person starts calling another person broke and questioning their sexuality, it's an attempt to deflect from the question or topic of the conversation. He did make money off of ignorant Negroes who don't know their history nor who he and his ancestors are. During the Dark Ages, we found his people in caves, sleeping with their animals. Our ancestors, the Moors, taught his ancestors how to read, write, and we also taught them to bathe. This is not hate, it's facts. He must remember that he is not the original, which is why he burns in the sun. Also, because he's been in the Bible, and so I know he read Genesis when the Most High took the dirt and made man, and I've never seen white dirt before. So he's not the original. He's nothing but a snake with a mental disorder, and he's being haunted/tormented. See, you can't play with the Most High. His people in these churches may be some fools, but he is surely not. This man saw a way to make money off of Negroes. He is a con man. He became full of himself and got too comfortable. That's why he felt like he could say nigga. Well, the ancestors have spoken. Esau, you are a fool. He bragged about what he gave away, but that was all to save his poor little ego. He is not sorry. He is not a believer. He does not even believe in Christ. The Most High was tormenting him, and he thought that giving his corrupt fortune away would stop it. But no, sir. You wanted that rhythm, and now you have to face that blues. Too coward to be the waste of white skin that he was born with, a pale-faced, blue-eyed demon to be exact. He is inhabited by spirits, which is why he is drunk off the spirits he is consuming while begging you, the fool, to sow a seed. Alcohol doesn't make seeds grow, loser. It was all good when he was calling those men broke, calling them niggas, but now he is begging for seed money. You so desperately wanted our rhythm, now may you choke on our blues. And last but not least, so this was a post that I did in 2016, and it is still relevant today. The downfall coming to the white man. Most Christians don't know who's who in the Bible, which is why a lot of pastors skip over the following verses below. This is why most of the church is out of order. We are in a battle, and most of my people don't know who we are or who our enemy is. You will see why most white folk always hating on you to the boss. You will see why they think they have the right to tell you how to discipline your kids. You will see why some will do what the Barbecue Becky or Central Park Karen did, calling the police in hopes that we will be murdered. You will see their arrogance and proud nature. They boast about this being their country, but they never paid for the land. They stole the land by breaking over 500 treaties, massacres, and giving my people blankets with smallpox. This is germ warfare, same as the Tuskegee experiment where they gave our men syphilis and did not tell them about it. Same as the tuberculosis sprayed in our St. Louis neighborhoods in the 1950s. They are the real illegal immigrants who have not changed. Through their secret societies, Jesuit Order, Freemasonry, Club of Rome, Bohemian Grove, and the Skull and Bones crew, in which T.D. Mistake is a proud member, they have infiltrated Christianity and taken over as authority over the church. And if you haven't encountered a situation with one, keep living, watching, and praying. Not all of them are our enemy, but the ones who support the government oppression against us, an example, Trump supporters, are. Pastors tend to skip over. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to the election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. People tend to forget that. Romans 9:11 through 15, King James Version. lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Hebrews 12:16-17, King James Version. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. Amos 9, verse 11 and 12, King James Version. Who was Esau/Edom? And the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them, and the boys grew. And Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. That's Genesis 25, verses 22 through 28, King James Version. And so if you notice here, only Esau was described when Esau was born. That's because Esau was the only one that looked different. Jacob looked like Rebekah and Isaac, who was black. That Jacob looked like that. Esau was the only one that was different. That's why he was described in detail. Notice that even in the womb, these two kids fought. Esau/Edom is the white man who was not white but red and hairy like a goat, because you can see their blood through their skin. This is a curse in a way to identify a specific group of people in the future. Notice Jacob was not described. That's because Jacob looked like everyone else at that time, black. Rebekah's husband, our great-grandfather Isaac, loved Esau more because Esau was a hunter/gatherer, and he was great at it. That's why they still great at it today. Keep in mind, it wasn't no Kroger's or Walmart in those days. If you wanted to eat, you had to hunt. One for sure way I know white people is Esau because of the hunting. I sometimes come across videos on YouTube when it comes to hunting, the outdoors, and camping. That is their skill all the way. You can't beat them in hunting. Think about the guys from Duck Dynasty. Who else would think to make a device that literally calls the ducks to them so they can just shoot them easily? They know how to spray female deer piss on themselves to attract the big bucks, male deer. I even seen one guy on YouTube who trained minks to catch rats. They created and are masters of weaponry, guns, nuclear bombs. This is their skill. It was said they was going to live by the sword, but Jacob is our grandfather. He was a plain man that liked to stay in the house and study his heritage, aka the laws of the Most High given to Noah, down to Shem, down to Abraham, and so on, dwelling in tents. And Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Well, see, that's why I like those Book of Jashers, the Book of Jubilees, some of the lost books that are canon, they are scripturally inspired, because it go into, see, Genesis is just an overview, so that's all it say. But if you read the book of Jasher, you would know why Esau was faint, because he had just had a war. He had just had a war. I forget with who, but Esau had a war with somebody, and I think he did win, but it was a close battle. And so by the time he got back to Jacob, that is why he was faint. But see, it don't tell you that in Genesis. You got to read the other books of the Bible to learn that. The reason their skin is pale is because our Father in heaven knew they will give up their birthright for a bowl of bloody pottage, aka stew meat, Genesis 25. Even though the law of Moses was not in place, there was 7 laws given to Noah by the Most High after the flood. One of them was not to eat or drink blood, which showed up later in the law of Moses. The birthright is usually given to the firstborn, but Esau gave it up. It wasn't important to him. The birthright is the right to rule the kingdom under Christ, which is why it stated the elder shall serve the younger. Let's look at the Bible to see what happened. A long time ago, Esau, white, sold their birthright to my people. Now watch as you keep reading how Esau would try to switch the narrative, saying Jacob tricked him. They do this to this day. They have not changed. These are characteristics that will manifest later on as time went on. I'm showing where they get these characteristics from and how they came about. I said the birthright equals future prophecy of ruling the next kingdom under Christ. We also received a great blessing from our great-grandfather Isaac. We give thanks to our great-grandmother, they always looking out, Rebecca, for what she did. The Lord had already told her back in Genesis 25, verse 23, King James Version, the elder shall serve the younger, which is why she did what she did. See, Isaac loved Esau, Rebecca loved Jacob. And this is the verse. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. The younger was stronger. And because of what the Lord told her, she devised a plan to help Jacob. And Rebekah heard what Isaac spake to Esau, his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Bring me venison, and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat, and that he may bless thee before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father peradventure will fill me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. And he went and fetched, and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took goodly raiment of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came unto his father and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, How is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because the Lord thy God brought it to me. And Isaac said unto Jacob, Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not. So pause. So I guess right there, because that kind of is not the truth. That's not the truth. But Rebecca said, whatever, upon her may thy curse be. So he still was instructed by his mama, honor thy mother and father, right? So he still, so I guess, but he did say, God brought him that. So that is, but it is what it is. So I guess that's why he the trickster. I don't know. But it's really not. Because God said that he would have the blessing. And Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him, and he said, Art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed. Therefore God give thee the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. That people serve thee, and the nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. Genesis 27, 5-30, King James Version. Esau is our older twin brother. This is my commentary. They were supposed to rule, but they sold that right. They lost their blessing, and they swore to kill us because of this. Who still don't get along after all these years? Only two races of people, with them having a perpetual hatred for us. Even in their unconscious, they say and do evil things because this is spiritual. The spirit in them remembers. Most of them don't know their history and can't even explain why they hate us, especially today. I'm showing you why. Pay attention when you read this next scripture. Who does this sound like today? Who is in charge by way of war? What is the United States of America known for? War and invasion. I mean, is that not how America was formed? They even create scenarios to go to war. 9/11 was an inside job. The government did that to bring in this new world order. Mr. Passa, yeah, them Republicans that was over there shaking hands with them Saudis, them Bushes, the two, the devil and Beelzebub, Bush Senior and the doofus, Bush Jr. Yeah, them. Yeah. Building 7. What happened to it? It wasn't hit by a tower. It wasn't hit by a plane. No bombs. I'm just saying. Then they started a 20-year war. A 20-year war, all to get them people oils. Weapons of mass destruction. But were no weapons of mass destruction. The government did that to bring in this new world order. Think about it. Have things been right since 2001? 7 years later, we had an economic collapse, all kinds of events along the way, like mass school shootings. That's done mostly by, you know what? Is it coincidence that no one else has tried to do what they say Osama did with 9/11? You see, the Capitol is not secure. I mean, we seen that January 6th. And leading up to today with this pandemic, they create chaos to establish order. Order out of chaos. Since 2001, when 9/11 happened, that was the time is counting down from that point on. From that point on, time is counting down. I mean, and it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he had also made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison and brought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his fathers, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me, oh brother, these 2 times. He took away my birthright. You see how they trying to switch? See how that's their ancestor. It started from right there. Right there. He forgot. Oh, just that quick. Forgot how he sold that birthright, because he came in because he was faint. Because he had been fighting somebody else. He was on the brink of death. Oh, but he forgot all about that. Just like when you go and help them and they forget all about you and they side with their people. Yeah. Man, that is just crazy. But listen to this. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above, and by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, because right now they have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, and arise, flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran, and tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turn away, until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me? You see how they switched the narrative? Now all of a sudden, we tricked them. But earlier they said, and Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? Thus Esau despised his birthright. Remember that? Of course not. This is why they have been stealing our inventions, music, culture, and identity. Since they know they won't rule under Christ, they now rule by the sword under Satan. You see, they have destroyed the earth with their drilling, their fracking. Hey, RuPaul. Chemtrails, global warming, oil spills, and wars. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air, and our name shall be forgotten in time. And no man shall have our works in remembrance, and our life shall pass away as the trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun and overcome with the heat thereof. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away. And after our end, there is no returning, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. So remember, like the Caesars, how they wear them little green things, or they even had that as a filter with the little rosebuds. Remember that filter with the rosebuds and the little green leaves and the rosebuds? They even had that as a filter. See? And let no flower of the spring pass by us. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this. Let us oppress the poor, righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doing. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objecteth to our infamy the transgressings of our education. He professeth to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us. even to behold. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God is his Father. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the Son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. Such things they did imagine and were deceived, for their own wickedness have blinded them. As for the mysteries of God, they knew them not, neither hoped they for the wages of righteousness, nor discerned a reward for blameless souls. I know people skimming through their Bible like, where is he at? Where is he at? Where is he at in the Bible? This is in the Apocrypha. For God created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier when I was saying about how when Adam came and, he sinned, death came into the world. So that's why we had to start eating animals, eating flesh. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it. Wisdom of Solomon 2, verses 1 through 24. King James Apocrypha. King James Version Apocrypha. I love the lost books of the Bible called the Apocrypha. They are canonical and spiritually inspired. So, what I just read to you, this is what these evil leaders, this is what these evil leaders, this is what they're saying right here. Because they know that their time is up. They know their time is up. They know they don't have nothing after this. And so, this is also, in the Apocrypha, in one of the lost books of the Bible. Oh, yes, I'll go here. I go in the Apocrypha, in the lost books of the Bible. So your average Sunday worshiping pastor ain't going to be able to contend with me. And they get mad at that. That's why they hate me. Because I know my word. And I can prove that they don't know theirs. That's why they hate me. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, and when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Since they are destroying the earth, we will rule for 1,000 years when Christ returns. This is biblical. You won't learn this in church because they do not know history. The Bible is a historical book of our ancestors, the Hebrew Israelites. Esau came from the Caucasus Mountains. They dwelled in the clefts. Hence the Geico caveman commercials. Remember, they always put it in the they is the Hollywood elite. Like how all the, those so-called Jewish men, like Cohen and all of them that run hip hop. Yeah, the people that they answer to. They ancestors and they people. These, yeah. Hence the Geico caveman commercials. Remember, they always put it right in your face. It just flies over your heads. It was prophesied in Genesis 27, verse 38 through 4 verses 41, I think, King James Version read it, that Esau, who became known as Edom or Idumea, white folk, shall live by the sword. He will also have a perpetual hatred for his brother Jacob, aka Israel. Who is Jacob? The 12 tribes of Israel, the chosen people of the Most High. The Negroes, who are Judah, the Mexicans, who are Issachar, North and South American natives, Haitians, who are Levi, Cubans, who are Manasseh, Dominicans, I forget, Islanders, Jamaicans, who is Benjamin, and Trinidad, Puerto Ricans, Ephraim. Puerto Ricans are Ephraim, aka the 12 tribes of Israel that were scattered in 721 BC and 70 AD. Keep in mind, you won't learn this from your pastor because they don't know. They were taught the replacement theology. The replacement theology is Israel being replaced with the church. This is what Romans 11, King James Version, is all about. This is why I did that video a few videos ago, Gentiles cut off, because of this, what I'm reading to you right now. Because they came with a replacement theology, which is Israel being replaced with the church. Esau, living by the sword, means going into different countries, overthrowing the beliefs and leaders already established. Example, North American natives, Iraq. They have been the root of all 3 world wars in this world. They cause the conflict and then bring the solution they already had planned out against God's chosen people. Order out of chaos. Not all white people are bad, but just like we had to pay for the sins of our forefathers, they will have to do the same. Revelation 13, verse 10, King James Version. And for you people that be like, well, I didn't do anything. I didn't benefit off of this. Maybe not all of you, but there is still some families who have slaves who have never, restored those families or anything like that. And I think Johnson & Johnson was like one of them, or even if they have, it's come out that these companies, the starters of them, had slaves. So the black babies that were born to the women on the slave ships were not bad, but they still had to endure and grow up in slavery. And when I speak of white folk, I'm speaking on the elite powers, the wickedness in high places. Their people in the KKK and the average Trump supporter are just the ignorant bottom feeders. Most of them don't know this history either. Notice they can't explain why they hate us, but even still, when the majority of them see Christ crack the sky and see he is a dark-skinned Negro, they will not serve. They will be judged harshly. There is no repentance for them, and major judgment is coming to the Gentiles. They boast and say Israel was done away with so they can come in. Blasphemy. Some of them will make it to be servants in the kingdom of heaven, but the majority, who have a perpetual hatred for the Most High's people, will not serve the woolly, afro-haired, black-skinned Messiah, or our Father, who was also black. You will see this happen. You will see them reject him when we all see he is a big black man, along with the angels. Yeah, the angels are black too. Who else do you know? Who else do you know that personifies themselves as the ego? Think about it. After the towers collapsed, scam. What did the wicked leaders say? We shall rebuild. Ego. Bald eagle loves fish. These birds are opportunistic predators. Slavery, massacre of the natives. And when fish aren't available, they'll eat whatever they can catch. Greed and desperation, including small birds and rodents. Bald eagles are also scavengers that will feed on carrion. If they see an opportunity, bald eagles may even steal stolen land, stolen people, food from other birds, such as osprey. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith the Lord. Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return to build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. That's Malachi 1, verses 2 through 4, King James Version. Esau, who is Rome / Idumea, well, this is their judgment. Obadiah. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. Spain symbol is the eagle. Somebody else symbol was the eagle too. And so is Americas. And those countries came together to form America. But though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, what that means is talking about their satellites and all that crap that they use to go to different planets, and the satellites that's up there, and everything that's going on up there. That's what this talking about. Though thou set thy nest amongst the stars. That's what that's talking about. Thence I will bring thee down, because when he come, he's going to knock all that stuff down. They got stuff that's in heaven. That's in the space, because they know that he's out there somewhere. They have weapons out there. That's why they wanted to ramp up, the space programs and all of that, because they know what's out there. They know. And they know he coming back. So they're going to try to fight him. And you people that's in this Mexican army, you're going to gag. Don't matter. You're going to be white, black, Mexican. It don't matter. You're going to gag. You're going to gag. Because you think you're going to fight an enemy. That's what they're going to tell you. But then when you get out there to fight, you're going to be locked in. Ain't no turning back. You made your choice. All right. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty man, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Talking about when we went into slavery. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. They stole our gold. They stole all our possessions. They stole our identity. This is him telling them that. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done. It shall, that's how you know this is a future prophecy. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done. It shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them, and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain the Philistines, and they of the plain the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead, and the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto their path. And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south, and saviors shall come upon Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. That's Obadiah 1, verses 1 through 21, King James Version. Let's see here. History repeats itself. Really? Yeah. Come out of her, my people. Look, all these man-made religions, created by Esau, the people that the ancestors of that ugly Yosemite Sam looking pastor that wanted to address the black church. You need to address your ancestors for doing this. Yeah, let's see how, they if Christ's color didn't matter, then why they got pictures of Cesare Borgia, who was the 6th Pope of Rome's son, painted. Look, and this was prophesied that this was happening. This is why they took out those lost books of the Bible. That's why they took them out. Because it was prophesied that white folk, Esau, would do this. During the Renaissance, never celebrate the Renaissance. You need to research the Dark Ages. Did you know that we ruled Italy? Did you know that? Research Alessandro de Medici and go on and look at his family on back. We ruled Europe. Europa is named after a black pagan queen. We ruled Germany. You need to research the Dark Ages. Learn your history. This is Cesare Borgia. Leonardo and the child of Cardinal Rodrigo Borgia by long-term mistress, whatever her name is, who would later become Pope Alexander VI, was so close it was believed they were lovers. Under the power of the Catholic Church, Pope Alexander VI decided that he would have his son Cesare Borgia used as the model for Jesus in paintings that Da Vinci was commissioned to do. Catholics changed the seventh day. Catholics did that. Oh, yeah, I was talking about these guys earlier. Hey, this is one of my favorite ones, man. Do you know who I am? Yes, the devil. Look, the Catholic Church controls all these little, you can barely see them, but the Catholic Church control all these religions, man. They all stem from Rome. The feet don't match the face. More false prophets. What they did to us. Who else did this happen to? Your world leaders. Right here, baby. Hebrew Israelite. Yeah. Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor. Choose them his ways. Genetic research finds that Africans are not included in the Darwin's ape evolutionary development chart. It found that Africans are the original and only pure humans. The research also found that Caucasians get their skin color and hair type from their Neanderthal DNA and not from albinism as previously believed. Oh, honey, you're not an albino. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah, see? Like I told you, Christ was born in the last week of September, so you already missed his birthday. He was born during the Feast of Tabernacles. Now you tell me what this is describing. Jeremiah 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen are dismayed at them, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe, meaning they cut the tree with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. Deck, fa la 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 la. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails. So they take it. So sounds like to me what this is saying. They take an axe, go into a forest, they cut down a tree, and then they deck the tree with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails. So you get the little red thing, right? And then you put the nails in to fasten it up. And with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born because they cannot go. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither also is it in them to do good. Yeah. So I wonder what that's talking about. Are you in decking the halls this season? You participating on that lie? You participating in that lie that's coming up? Talking about Christ was born on December 25th? That's a flat out lie. And if you are so heterosexual, you probably got kids. You wouldn't like it if nobody lied on your kids. Let's say your kids was born on, I don't know. Let's say your kids was born on March 1st. And then, somehow, some way, everybody starts celebrating your child's birthday in August. August 15th. Gave your child a whole new birthday. You wouldn't take offense to that? You wouldn't be mad at that? And then, as much money as we spend on Christmas, do you really think God is happy with that? We spend enough money in this country alone to end world hunger on Christmas during the holidays. I don't think the Most High is pleased with that. So, you're going to be sitting there eating your abominable foods, your ham, and all of that, celebrating a lie, but you want the black church addressed. No, my brother, you need to address yourself. You need to address yourself. You need to address the black people in your congregation as to why they following Yosemite Sam's father. Have a blessed day.